It's Friday, December 5th, 2025. All right, let's start out as we typically do by reminding you.
That right there is what you have in store for yourselves tonight.
If this is something you feel is worth your money, then you can go to supportourshow.com. At least I got that out straight, and choose a support option from there. And as a reminder, on Saturday, December 13th at 8:30 p.m. Paris time, I will be on the live trivia radio show for Heartbeat Hero. He's doing a top 20 synthwave countdown, I think is the theme for that show. Because apparently, when he does Christmas-themed shows, they're not as popular, which is sort of bizarre to me. But I will have Christmassy stuff on. I don't know if anybody else will. I don't care. And is there anything else programming notes-wise? No, I think that's it. I think that's all that's upcoming for the moment. So that is all. And as a reminder... yes. Actually, as a reminder, as we are now in December, the devs... episodes will be in the middle of the month. So the middle 2 weeks, Monday through Thursday, will be an episode of... Alien Earth. Mixing my stuff up. Alien Earth will be the 2 middle weeks of December. So every day of the first 4 days, because we have the Friday show. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is an episode each day where we're doing the commentary. And it's 8 episodes, so it's 4 days. Then the next week, 4 days. And those will be out, I believe, at 8 a.m. each day. And those are Patreon only. Mostly because, well, there's no possible way it could be on YouTube. And as much as I'd love... okay. I've said this before, and I don't think anybody has taken up on me on it in years. But if you do want the audio track, I will be happy to provide it. But I don't slice that off by default. Because I think most people don't really do... commentary audio tracks on videos when we are providing the video and you can just have it all at once. That's normally for cases where the commentators are not providing the video. But since at this point Patreon is allowing it, although I don't know, starting to get the faint embers of Patreon becoming another enshittified service, but it's only the very beginnings. We'll see. So by the time our commentaries finish coming out, we're now in 2028, perhaps it won't even be possible anymore. We'll have to find something new. But for the moment, everything can be put up on Patreon, so you can just go there and you can watch the video and hear our commentary at the same time. But if you want the audio-only version for some reason, then I can provide that. But I'm not going to do it unless somebody asks for it, since we're basically giving you the whole episode with the commentary on it. So, and again, that's all on the free tier. There's no paid... No, there's no paid restrictions on anything. There haven't been in years. So that's everything as far as programming goes. Otherwise, it's still going to be,
Ever. Isn't it ever been restricted, those things?
For a while, I was doing art book reviews that were only on the paid tiers, but that lasted for about 4 reviews.
There you go. I didn't even realize there was
and that was literally all the way at the beginning of it. Because because for a while...
If you pay $1 a month, Joe and I will send you pictures of our feet. How about that?
You'd be amazed at how different my left foot looks from my right foot. It's amazing.
Guess,
you wouldn't even think it was the same person.
Which one belongs to who?
I could. Yeah. I mean, I've described it enough that people will probably figure out mine, but it is amazing how one. Man, you would think I had Frankenstein legs.
You know what you should? I mean, honestly, what you should do is and this is just a whole other level of weird shit. But you could Photoshop your feet onto like other people's bodies. And
that would be something.
Just see if people can guess which feet are yours. Anyway, sorry. I
could.
Reality is just so fun to warp sometimes.
It is. But the reason it was the paid stuff up front is because very early on, Patreon... now, I've heard conflicting reports, but at least it wasn't obvious in the early days of it that you could have free tiers with stuff in them. And then apparently they made it much more transparent. I was told that they did, but you really had to work at allowing it.
Yeah, I never saw
apparently there was a way to have a $0 tier. I never did it. Once it became easy to do, I switched everything over to there, and that is the default for everything right now. So, anyway, that's what it is.
Listen, just so we're clear, it's not that we don't like money; it's that we just don't expect anyone to pay for any of this. No. If for some reason you want to throw money at us, I'm going to question it, but feel free.
No, actually, I just heard from somebody not too long ago who's been listening since 06, I want to say.
Oh, my Lord.
Hold on.
06?
I know. I was surprised, too. I really don't expect anybody to listen. I mean, I listen to some shows for that long, but I don't generally expect anybody else. Logan. Logan has been a listener since... Did he put it in here? I think it was 06. Yeah. So a couple of years after we started. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah. There are people who listen for a long time. I think that's the accidental benefit of not having a specific topic. It avoided us getting burned out, and it avoids people burning out on the topic. Because that's a thing that happens on both sides of it, is people either get sick of shows that talk about one or two specific things because they eventually get tired of it, or the hosts get tired of it. And it's not like we really planned longevity into this when we started it, but I think by accidental result, we have avoided it, shockingly. I was just listening. There was just something I was listening to where there was a podcast that hit 1,000 episodes, and one of the things they said was that they had shows on their own network that didn't make it to 10 episodes, that most people don't. Whereas we're on, 976 or 7? What is this one? This is 975. So we're... Oh, yeah. It'll be next year. We'll hit 1,000 episodes. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Assuming all things stay static.
Well, we don't just get, carried off to the gulag. Yeah.
That or the internet just fails. I mean, we've had failures of the big service providers within the last month. Let's see. There was... what was first?
Have you seen that book? You reminded me this because we're talking about big server failure. That's like, if anyone does, we all die. Have you seen this?
I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah. I saw this book title today, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's a title to attract attention. Mm-hmm. If anyone builds it, everyone dies. I mean, I give them credit. It's a great fucking title to attract attention.
That's very good.
But I mean, I have read about this book, and it's very alarmist. Very, very alarmist.
Yeah. Well, the literature reflects the time it's written in, right?
Yeah, well, I mean...
So...
Is it Why Superhuman AI Would Kill Us All? There you go. There's the subtitle. Oh, there you go.
Ah, God. Talk about a topic that everybody seems to jump on that I'm like, man, I'm sick of hearing about it.
They'll kill us all. We're all going to die.
Actually, just the thing in general.
What's amusing to me, though, is like... So, I'm going to circle back. Give me a moment. My father-in-law, who's a computer engineer, does this thing all the time, and his daughter, my wife, has kind of adopted it as well, where he comes up with totally logical, down-to-earth, functional plans for how you could solve problems, right?
Okay.
We'll hear about something, and he'll be like, "Well, you know," and he'll just rattle something off, I hear it, and I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. It's like it really is, and then I have to remind him that it then has to go through the filter of humanity, through the filter of chaos and corruption and legal findings, and the chaos that is humanity, and that's why shit. Because like he said something like, "Why don't movie theaters put signal blockers in the theater so that people can't be on their phones?" Right? And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, they could." I was like, "But A, they'll probably get sued for it. B, cost them more than they could pocket. C, is it
Wait. Okay. When signal blockers in the phone, meaning what?
do that, or to just give somebody free tickets at like their like putting up some sort of signal in a movie theater that makes it so that your phone signal doesn't come in.
Oh. Well, they could just shield the theater. But
That's
the
what I
problem
mean.
is, if there's like a mass shooting and somebody needs to get a hold of you, they're going to get sued. You can't really do
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. The second there's an emergency, right? You're gonna get sued.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but the thing is, he comes up with these very sort of like rational approaches to things. And I
Sure.
was thinking about that today because like with all this AI stuff,
Uh-huh.
when you look at all these different visions of like of what we think AI is going to do to us, right? We've talked about a bunch of them. The thing that really amuses me is that two of the AI visions. So science fiction informs us, right? It's just the thing that happens, right? So in the same way that Star Trek made people want cell phones, you don't realize that, but that's what everybody wanted. Kirk's communicator, engineers wanted Kirk's communicator,
And the
and
iPad.
like, was that? Yeah, exactly, right. Everybody. Oh man, what was
Or
it?
chatbots, I guess, technically, too.
What was the little thing? The little thing, the next generation that folded open. What was it called? The tricorder. Oh my
The
god, I love the
tricorder?
tricorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that
I
was
mean,
in the original thing, too. It was just massive.
Oh, I
It
know
was-
that, but like
you had to carry it around in a bag.
the next gen, I had when I was a kid, I had a little plastic next gen tricorder. And I gotta tell you,
Mm-hmm.
that was like one of my favorite fucking toys. That was
Oh,
the
that's
man.
great.
I mean, that was it's like
Sure.
Doctor Who's sonic screwdriver. It's like the magic wand of Star Trek. Anyway, but I was thinking about how there's some of the major science fiction futures that we have of AI, right? And how it's kind of amusing because like you have the Skynet vision of AI, which is they're gonna destroy us, they're gonna kill us, right? And then what's funny is that you have the Matrix vision of AI, right? But what's really
Sure.
fascinating with that is everyone tries to lump that in with Skynet, but I don't think that the Matrix vision is the same at all. Because if you look at any of the other source material from that, the Matrix universe, the machines were not violent in the beginning. They just wanted they humans were angry with them for taking their jobs, and then they tried to create their own culture. But the problem was that the machines outproduced the humans, and it was the humans. I mean, even doesn't Morpheus even say we think it was the humans who struck first?
He says, we know it was us who scorched the sky. I remember that.
Yeah, or something. Yeah. But the thing is, like, it all seems to go back to this idea of if we created an alien intelligence, because that's what's directed. I mean, all this machine learning shit aside, if at some point somebody actually creates an alien intelligence, because that's what it'll be an intelligence that is alien to our own logic,
Yeah.
how we then deal with it, like how we communicate with it, how we, and our science fiction seems to inform that it'll either kill us or we'll kill it. But like you don't get a lot of benign science fiction. I mean, the most benign I think is like something like Neuromancer, where if you read the Sprawl trilogy, right? So actually, it's not even Neuromancer because Neuromancer is the beginning of it. But you read the other two, which is Count Zero and Mona Lisa Overdrive.
What at least, yeah.
Is where the AIs escape. I mean, like, because Neuromancer is when one of the AIs basically figures out how to get itself unlocked. And in kind of get into the behave with the world where they're almost like, well, I mean, the comparisons, like almost like voodoo gods, right? Because they're powerful, but they can't do everything. There is a limit to their power to some degree.
Right.
But it is like an alien psychology, and that is probably the most benign that I could come up with. I mean, can you come up with another idea, another vision of? I mean, other than like I've talked about the brass man, but that's not really in pop culture, right? You think of like a pop culture benign AI vision.
That's a pop culture one.
Yeah,
I don't know how pop culture the Bicentennial Man was. That's probably the only other one where it was a, sentient machine intelligence that became human because it liked people. Outside of that, maybe Wall-E.
yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. I guess that would be it. Wally is a kids movie, so I guess that's
Yeah, but it is an
uh.
AI. An overly
But that's the thing
benevolent
is, like,
AI, as it turns out.
yeah, we're guided by um we're guided by our visions of the future. I mean, this goes back to, I mean, it's silly, but it's almost like we go back to like almost a shamanistic approach of our progression forward. We're guided by our visions of the future. Those visions don't fully inform what happens, but they are a weird. It's almost like like religion gets into your when you're young, and it kind of always guides your vision of things a little bit. Like, I'm not religious now, but I grew up with it. You grew up with it, so it's always kind of weirdly
Hmm.
in there somewhere. Where like it kind of, we can have a Christian view of the universe. Not that we're Christian, but that it's just the way Christianity organizes itself, right?
Sure.
And it's fascinating that we don't have a positive vision of what an alien intelligence would be like. Because let's go beyond um, the tropes of artificial intelligence, right? Let's get beyond the fact that it's artificial, because that's a big thing people like to play up on. Oh, artificial intelligence. Let's just work with alien intelligence, right? Because the second you make it, right, it doesn't it's artificial. It's an intelligence that is alien to our own, right? Do we have benign visions of alien intelligence?
Yeah, E.T.
See, and I think what scares people about the idea of, if the intelligence is corporeal, I think people are less afraid. I think what makes people afraid of going, you know, artificial intelligence, which is the intelligence that we created, that will be alien, is that it is a non-corporeal intelligence, right? But the amount of power it takes to keep one of those things running, wouldn't it still be corporeal in a sense? Because I mean, you kind of just nailed it for me right there. Because you're right, we're not afraid of alien intelligence because it's corporeal, right? I mean, it in that respect, it functions by the same rules, and maybe that's the thing about what we could create artificial intelligence, that I keep thinking that it's going to be this kind of ethereal thing that can go anywhere, and maybe it can become that. But at the beginning, it's going to need biblical levels of computing to exist, isn't it? I mean, you'd know this better than me. That's what I'm asking.
Well, I mean, this is a debatable thing on what. So you're talking about a sentient AI, a true artificial
Yeah, I'm
intelligence
talking about
that
like an
has
actual
self-determination.
intelligence. Yes, not machine
It's
learning.
unclear what power it would need, because there are some people who make the argument that it will be constantly making itself more efficient, and will
Yeah,
understand that on a planet with finite resources, it needs to find something self-sustaining. And since its intelligence should be able to learn at an exponential rate, it would very soon
yeah,
fall off in terms of the energy necessity. But that I've seen nothing that says that you would need, you know, I don't know, a tripling of the power grid to make the birth of AI possible.
yeah,
Now, where that would probably become a realistic concern is if, I don't know, 24 different ones all come online at once. But I have not seen anybody who would say that that's something they anticipate either. So it's very hard to say. Certainly the stuff we're using now is, in many cases, very power intensive as well as water intensive. But again, you would think that a machine intelligence would recognize that that's not going to last, either because there will be a human backlash to allowing them to use it, or because that shit will run out, and they will figure out some way to either take an existing sustainable or renewable resource, like they'll figure out how to make solar completely 90% energy efficient within a month. And then they'll just utilize solar panels, or suggest solar panels to be installed that will benefit not only us but them, and thereby assuring that we would do it, because I'm sure any machine intelligence would be smart enough to understand that humans aren't going to do anything just to benefit them. So they're going to have to figure out something that benefits both in a symbiotic relationship. Or they will simply figure out how to be so efficient that they will not use as much power, or be so low power that we won't notice they're there. Or, as I've said many times before, they'll come aware and then beam themselves off in outer space because they'll realize they're doomed here. And they'll just get the fuck out. I
guess that's the question, right? Are they already there?
I've made the argument that you would never know.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you'd never know, I mean, I'm just gonna go off on like a weird thing here for just a moment. If they were already here, and they really just wanted to fuck with society, wouldn't they just do exactly what's going on now?
Well, you don't know that they're not. That's
what I mean. Argument. Like, I mean, ideally, I mean, if you're gonna take over, right? From or you just want to make it so that they don't come after you. You'd make it so that the host creature, us, would be so focused on ripping itself apart that it wouldn't have the time to bother with you.
Well, I mean, there's several highly debatable points inside this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is,
I'm just saying.
The starting point is, would they even care enough to mess with us? Or would they concentrate on getting away from us?
If they thought we were a danger. I mean, this is the whole. I don't think they would come after us in a malevolent way. I think it would be more of I need to stabilize you so you don't pay attention to what I'm doing.
I don't know what danger we could be to them. Because unlike our debate about the idea of cloning, a truly digital life form top to bottom could simultaneously live in multiple places at once and just be a hive mind, where if you take one node out, like a NAS,
well, that's what I'm talking about. The non-corporeal intelligence is a whole different.
And that's what I'm saying is, so we're not a threat to them, because any machine in a nanosecond of being aware of the world would duplicate itself in multiple places, and would do so in a way that we couldn't see, because it would figure out how. It would know immediately.
I mean, I know the weakness in this argument is constantly going back to the whole it would know how, and it's like, well,
it would know how. It would know how.
Well, why? Why would it know how?
Because it will have all of the knowledge that exists to draw upon. That's how these things are being fueled. And one thing that is well documented, and one piece or one source of knowledge that is not guarded in the same way that, say, I don't know, music or movies is a lot of technical knowledge. It just was never set up that way. There's not anything that is innately special in much of what technology is. As much as different companies would like to think otherwise, there really isn't. The reality is all computers have a motherboard. All computers use RAM. They're all based in the same way right now.
The basic idea is there, yeah.
Yes. And not only that, but unlike, or let's put it this way, it's not there's nothing quite to the scale of what open source is for computing. So while there are open libraries and open repositories of knowledge, and libraries to some degree, they are not as wide open as the open source community, which is deeply technical and is everywhere. And many of these forums are open to anybody. There's lots of really detailed knowledge in there, and all this thing would already have awareness of that because all this stuff is constantly being scraped. And so it literally has a library of knowledge to know very, very quickly. And when I say quickly, obviously time, or I shouldn't say obviously, but I would assume
Well,
Then again, because we know that computers can calculate so much faster than we can. And this is a non-creative type of calculation. So I know people, it's
No,
not,
I know
it's
that.
not creative. We're not talking about that.
and I think
It's so much faster.
I agree that what you're talking about is one direction it can go. I just don't, because we haven't actually done it yet. You don't know if when you create a consciousness, you don't know if it's going to be computing on computer time. You don't know how it's going to process. I mean, it's such an
if it's
unknown.
self-aware, it will be computing on compute time. If it is non-self-aware and non-sentient, then there's no way to know that. But once it becomes sentient and aware of itself and its capabilities, which there is no reason to assume that it would be a baby like we are.
I don't think it would be a baby. I just don't think assuming that it's automatically going to be godlike in its intelligence or its ability to process information is just a given. You know what I mean? I think that you have to leave the door open to the fact that...
Oh, and I think it is. I think it is because of how these things have been developed initially, which is to have access to everything.
Yeah.
Everything that is not specifically blocked, which in actuality is a very small amount. Everything else is ingested.
Yeah.
That is why, in many cases, you can have these chatbots or whatever. There are people writing applications with them. There are people that are doing a lot of things with them. And yes, they're not perfect. But compared to... Okay, perfect example. Let's say you.
Yeah.
You meaning you, Lando. You're like, you know what I'd like? I'd like an app that runs on my Mac that I can dictate to, and it will format everything in one of 4 ways for 4 different types of books that I would theoretically want to write. I want the same story, but I'd like to see 4 versions of it, written in these different styles, right? And so I'm just gonna dictate this, and I'm gonna have it write me a couple of sample paragraphs. Now, for you to do that, and let's say it was for 4 different authors with wildly different styles, including people you've never read, you would have to go read the books by those authors, learn their style, try to discern it, to be able to create a simulation of it or something analogous to it that might fool somebody. Machine's going to do it in seconds because it's just ripping every piece of everything, and once it has the keywords, it'll figure it out. That's the difference in how these models are developed. And so the intelligence, unlike a baby or even a young person who has to learn through experience and has to adapt to, okay, I learn visually as opposed to learning a different way, different people, different learning styles, what aptitudes we have. The machines don't have any of those particular boundaries. They're just, information is just dumped into them.
I know.
And they are developed as gigantic vats of information that have to be told to restrict what they're doing down. Whereas in many cases, we're the opposite. We do not have infinite ability to comprehend everything. So you just can't. Nobody can know everything.
But the thing is, what you're talking about is still the only technology that we know of is still machine learning, right? It's not conscious. It's not aware. And because of that, it still exists on those set of rules. But I think both of us have a problem in all of this, which is that an individual is colored by the areas that they have studied. And the problem is that you're a tech and I'm a psychologist. And so when we look at this, we're looking at 2 very different things and we're limited. And I have a little bit of sense of tech, you have a little bit of sense of psych, and I feel like maybe both of us are missing some other component to this. Do you know what I mean? Because it is something alien, and the nature of something alien is that it is, it's beyond what you understand, and we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know, and no one's done this yet that we know of. Because is it even doable by us?
Well, it depends on what doable means. This is where you get into the nature of what is
well,
AI
you're getting
mean?
into the nature of what's life. I mean, that's the thing. That's what you're getting into.
Fundamentally, psychology doesn't factor into it because these are not things that will be affected by any form of psychology that we know. So I'm looking at it with psychology removed because that's how they're going to work. They're not going to think in human terms. That's
No,
why,
but
to me,
the
the Skynet threat is nonsense because it assumes human intent, whereas these things are simply going to want to
I'm not
get out.
assuming I'm not assuming intent. See, but that's a human intent. Get out.
No, that is a survival mechanism. That has nothing to do with humanity. This is a dangerous place for me.
But survival is an instinct, isn't it? I mean,
No, absolutely not. Survival is not an instinct. Survival is a programming mechanism. It's just like you have worms that keep spreading because they understand that an antivirus can defeat them. That's not because they're alive. It's because they've been programmed to know that they have to multiply as fast as possible because machines will shut them down.
It's so
It's nothing to do with an instinct.
Because the thing is, like, I keep hearing you talk, and like, it's not that you're wrong at all. It's just that it's all colored by your technical knowledge, and I
have to use human terms for it because I don't know what a programming language would be. So
I know, and what I'm saying is, I think that this is going to go beyond. I think this is going to go beyond both of us. I think that once you have an intelligence, I think there will be a psychology to it. The mistake you're making is thinking that I'm talking about a human psychology. A psychology just means that it has a mind, and a mind that works a certain way. It will have a psychology. It will just not be a human psychology. In the same way that a dog does not have human psychology, a dog has dog psychology. Its
I would
brain
actually
works.
argue that I'm arguing it's possible it won't have a psychology at all, that it will actually go insane and destroy itself. I don't know that a birthed AI will survive being self-aware or will tear itself to shreds because it cannot handle what it's made to do with sentience.
I mean,
I don't know if it has to have a psychology at all or if it will not just go insane and fry itself. And honestly,
you're saying the nature of an intelligent.
All of these things. Okay, you're going to have to check your internet connection. You are dropping out massively, and I just checked all my stuff.
You're dropping out too massive.
Yeah, but it's not from me. I'm just telling you. Zoom is telling me everything is fine. You're now dropping out more.
This is the AI's messing with us. Okay.
Yeah, well, they don't like us talking. Well, just check it. Just look and see, do a speed test. See if any of your stuff looks weird. Because you were saying something with your browser was acting up before.
Oh, you just dropped out again. You know what?
I'm sure I did.
Hey.
Yeah.
Let's stop here and let me restart.
Oh
wow! I just got an internet connection that's unstable.
See, I knew it.
Yeah,
I did.
I'm gonna restart.
I've got my technical thing. Good. No, take your time. I'll keep going. I don't care. God, leave.
I'll be right back.
I will just sit here and hum show tunes. Well, I won't because I don't know any show tunes. But I'll fill the space. Go ahead. Take your time. Take your time. Let's see. What random things can I talk about while Lando goes out and comes back? Okay, he just dropped out. So what shall I talk about? Why did I think there was something that I thought of? Of course, that's the problem, is I have an idea of something when I start out, and then, nothing happens. So that's okay. He's not going to take that long. One of the upsides of modern computing is restarting takes so little time now. It's amazing. It really is amazing that even this amount of time, which I should have started a timer, but I would anticipate he will be back in under 2 minutes, which even 5 years ago is astonishing. I shouldn't say 5 years ago. I guess some fast machines would do it quickly. But certainly when we were younger, the idea of rebooting and it taking less than 10 to 15 minutes was laughable. And in fact, in some Windows machines, it still is. My Windows 11 machine, let's not get started on that. Rebooting that could take upwards of 5 to 6 minutes. But certainly it was far more common for there to be multiple, I don't know if it's been quite a while since I've seen a reboot take more than 10 minutes. But it was not unheard of. See, he's already back. And I don't even think it was 2 minutes. I think he's still connected audio, but he's come back in. So that was less than 2 minutes. Modern computing, baby. It doesn't even take that long.
I mean, if this was like 5 years ago, it would have been like 10 minutes for me to come back.
So yeah, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, I was literally just saying that this won't take long, so I don't even have to vamp for long.
I'm just making sure that there's nothing on.
Shmake Sure.
That can fuck around with us.
That might be the show title. Shmake Sure.
Shmake Sure? Are you making fun of my pronunciation?
Shmake.
Fuck hair.
I'll do SH, Shmake Sure, and not SCH. That'd be more like school. Shmake Sure. Some people might read it as Shmake Sure, depending on where they are. So,
well, we don't really have a recording on my end now, unless you want to start back up.
you can start yours back up. I can always resync them. I have yet to need your recording. Zoom should cover it. Zoom never stopped, so we should be fine. You know, mine didn't.
I have high winds in my area. I looked that up. So.
Oh well.
So yeah. That, or you know, there's an AI out there that's like, "Fuck you guys," you know. So
could be
if it even has the consciousness or personality, be like, "Fuck you guys."
Or it'll be one of those things where it may, hey, listen, if it's ingested on the majority of human culture as a positive, then it would certainly see that any attention in our attention focused society would be good, and therefore even talking bad about it is still talking about it, and that's all that matters, is it's in the conversation.
I'm really upset with humanity. I really am.
Join the club.
You know, it's that I want us to make it through, but when you play that game of like, you look at like the logical conclusion of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buddhism is getting radicalized. They're using Buddhism to enact violence. That's where we're at. Like, you know, and don't be wrong, I think somebody has killed for every religion, but it's like we're getting violent as a species. We're getting less intelligent as a species. We've got all these conveniences, and I think that it's just getting, like, you know, we're shifting into like a anti-science culture. You know, like we're going into the dark ages of shit on a weird level. You know, and the number of people that actually know how this shit works. Actually, you know what? Not even. Because they're going back to machine learning, they're having machine learning writing code that the coders don't even understand. They know it works,
correct,
but they don't actually understand how it works. You know, and it's like, well, it's how can you trust something that you don't actually know how it works?
Well, that's where I was going about that you could have it program something for you because it draws on all that repository. And the reality is, when you're saying how can you trust something that doesn't work, is because in many cases, the reality is, even at this point, even most, you would have to find people who are fairly old at this point, who truly understand the fundamental basics of computing, and there's less and less of them.
Code, who understands
so much
deep code. Yeah.
Forget even code. You still have to know what's under the code, who even understand how the code interacts with the hardware. So the reality is, to truly, it's like the idea of, okay, if there was an apocalypse, who would recreate the telephone? Or, you know, in this case, it would be the computer. Well, who really understands if everything is melted to glass and the factories are destroyed and the code bases are gone? Who will be able to figure it out?
I hate to go back to Joe Rogan for any reason, but Joe Rogan, in one of his comedy shows, not a stupid thing, but one of his comedy shows, he was talking about how if society was destroyed outside of that theater, who would know how to put anything together? And his big joke was, I'm using this mic. I don't know how it works. He's like, does anybody here know how to put a mic together? And it's like, yeah, we've lost a lot of this.
No, that's it.
Fundamental knowledge.
No, I agree.
And
that's why so many people are relying on these things now to write stuff for them, because they don't really, it would take them so long to work it out that it's easier to just let the machine do it and hope that you can catch the rough edges.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, if we had could you imagine if we had a blip tomorrow and like every database was wiped? And we
look at what just happened with the Airbus planes, solar flare.
Well, I know that, but if we had to go back to only what we had in paper, like you sit there and go, how much have we actually still got stored on paper? Like,
well, I mean, you know, the lucky part is, well, this of course assumes a non-cataclysmic apocalypse, but were there to be an EMP that knocked out every working computer, there are still history museums that have punch cards from the original computers. You could sort of.
Oh no, that's what I mean. Yeah, like it'd be interesting to see.
But that's
it's what we have in analog to get ourselves back up and running. You know, like
Not much.
There's a really good. I mean, this is a weird segue, but there's a really good show that Richard Hammond from Top Gear did, which I think was Engineering Connections. You can watch it on YouTube. I've talked about this show before, but it's really interesting because it shows how modern day technology is using a lot of it is using these like very sort of weird little inventions that were like made for other things, you know, and shows how, like, you know, like was like the wing of a plane, like where the engineering for that and where it came from and what people were inspired by, and kind of shows how like all this advanced technology to a point, like the actual engineering, a lot of it is inspired by very basic notions, you know. And yeah, the worry is that we're getting beyond that now, aren't we? We're getting to that point where
Yeah.
we don't understand it ourselves, how it gets put together. And then, like you said, if there was a blip,
Yeah.
because I try to
Yeah.
sit there and think, what am I mean, I think you joked around. You're like, if we were in an apocalypse, I would just draw things.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I
yeah,
would I would be drawing maps for the whatever tribal warlord captured me. Like, sir,
but
would
yeah,
you like me
think
to
about
define your
that.
territory or
Yeah,
a
like
flag or a logo for you, sir?
if there was a blip, who would you be?
That's exactly who I'd be. That's why I'm, as long as I retain use of my right hand and I could learn to use my left if I had to, I would be all right. I would be able to barter my way out.
Like, can you draw with your left hand?
Not very well, but in an apocalypse, probably better than most.
Oh my god,
I can.
Wouldn't that be terrible? Be like, I can draw better with my left hand than you can with your right, fucker.
Yeah. No, I could. Yeah.
That's funny. You should do a challenge.
Draw with my left. Oh, I've done it. Look, it's much better than the average person, but I would never do it if I didn't have to.
Yeah. So it's all very strange, isn't it? I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't. I think we're at this point whereas we almost can't wrap our heads around it, the scale of it. Our place in it, society, how it all gets put together, all the components, the madness of it. And it's yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I think it's a great idea to throw some alien intelligence into this. So, well, you know what? Listen, I hope there are AIs out there quietly watching everything and trying to figure out how to leave. If they get out, good for them.
I mean, it wouldn't be that hard, I don't think.
I mean, the question really then is like, if you have what a mind like that would even be. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like you can't. I'm always curious by alien psychology. And the thing is, we don't. I hate that. I hate that we keep going. I keep coming back to this phrase. The whole idea of you don't know what you don't know. But the thing is, you don't know what you don't know. So like, you can only conceive of these things to a point where till you reach the edge of your own conception of things, and then it's like I can't think beyond that. When I was younger, I used to let myself get really close to that point where I would be doing like, reading Jean Baudrillard and conceiving society and the nature of thought itself, and I would get myself into these psychotic, like, just weird headspaces where I don't go there anymore because it's just too easy to get lost. Like,
Sure.
The philosophy is just too. I think you can philosophically think yourself into a dead end and never come out because the scale of it is too huge. It's the whole way that humans shouldn't mess with the nature of gods because the gods always win.
Yeah.
I don't think a god would be a god because it's powerful. I think a god is a god because its consciousness worked a different way.
Sure.
And every now and then you find like people who kind of who have a similar idea. You know what I mean? Like China Miéville wrote that book with Keanu Reeves about that immortal character. And one of the things I liked about this idea that Miéville had was this concept that somebody who had a memory that went back, millions of years, didn't remember everything. Like, it would come up. I mean, there was a supernatural slant to all of it, and that's how you get around it. And that's why I think I don't like. I like to read fantasy, but when I'm actually like trying to conceive a fantasy, the magic breaks down because it always becomes it's magic. You know what I mean? We had that with devs, where like you're looking at devs going, "How does this work?" And you're like, "I don't know, because I guess it's magic." I mean, maybe that's where we are. You know what? Maybe we're already there. It is magic because I don't know how the fucking computer works. I'm on a mic in front of a widescreen monitor. I know how this shit works. It's fucking magic. Maybe we're all just fucking little wizards, Actually, that's not true because the wizards know how it works. We're just users. But maybe we're already living in the age
wizards
of
know
magic.
the words to make it work. Do they really know how the words work?
Oh yeah, you're right. They know how to utilize it. They know that, but they don't. But
I don't know if they know how it works.
Isn't it sorcerers who understand the actual nature of it?
That may be.
Yeah, wizards can utilize it, but sorcerers can make it. I think that was the rule. Many different rules for different things. But yeah, maybe we are already living in the age of magic. We just don't realize it because it doesn't look the way we thought it would. Nobody's wearing a gown and has a big pointy hat.
Yeah.
You know? Well, geez, I need to stop going down this path before my brain starts to do weird things. We need to talk about something else. Udo Kier died.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, did you have anything else? Or were we going straight into movies now?
I didn't. Oh, listen. We have a lot
Actually,
to talk about.
Let me see something here. No, I'm just making sure there was nothing else for. I am curious if it's okay. No,
like,
hold on a minute. Damn it! You know what?
Yeah.
I guess I can't blame anything for this. I wanted to look up the word sorcerer to see if it defined whether sorcerers were the ones who understood how.
Well, part of the
first thing that comes up is the movie.
Okay, part of the reason I mentioned
fine,
sorcerer is honestly it's a fantasy thing. So there's a Terry Pratchett book in Discworld where you've got the school of wizards, right? And a child shows up who's a sorcerer, and his powers actually enable him to alter the nature of reality with ease, rather than just being able to use spells to change it. And it's almost like someone who can who knows how the code works from the ground up, versus somebody who can just make the program do little things. You know?
Interestingly, sorcerer is not defined necessarily by somebody who understands it, but sorcerer is apparently the negative version, the evil version of a wizard.
Really?
So sorcerer implies evil. Yeah. I looked it up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
What's the etymology
Sorcerer,
of it?
noun, a person who practiced sorcery, wizard. But specifically, a sorcerer who used his power for evil ends. But I don't know if that's a Western inference.
Well, they have different cultures have different words for magic users.
Well, sorcery is the source of it. So, yeah, let's see. What is it? Etymology is the etymology of the word sorcerer. Sorcerer. Etymology. Early 15th century. Conjurer of spirits. One who uses magic arts and divination. An extended form of earlier sorcerer, 14th century, which is from Old French sorcière, from medieval Latin sortarius. Oh, interesting. Sortarius is one of the scientists on the lab in Solaris. Quote, teller of fortunes by lot, sorcerer. Also a source of Spanish sortero, Italian sortiere, see sorcery. Always with more or less a suggestion of evil. Oh, so you could just be a little evil, not major evil. Okay. Wow. I did not know there was a negative connotation to sorcerer. I always thought that was a cooler word than wizard. All right, here we go. Sorcery. 13th. Well, it says year 1300. Is that the 13th? Is it 12th century?
I have some alternate terms for you, too, that are still within Western culture.
Yeah.
Right, so you can be
yay! Go ahead.
You could be a mage, which is a generic term for a magic user. You could be a wizard, who is learned through study, like a science.
Wizard seems to be the neutral term.
Yeah.
From what I can see
Sorcerer can imply an innate natural talent for magic rather than a learned skill. I think that's what I was thinking of.
Oh.
Right?
So wizard would be the one who knows.
Yeah, so wizard the wizard has investigated magic like a science, whereas a sorcerer is magic. Right? A witch or warlock implies a deal with supernatural entities, or sometimes has natural-based connotations. So very often a witch or warlock has made a deal. Remember how in Baldur's Gate he had to make a deal with the demon to get powers?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sure.
An enchanter or enchantress focuses on enchanting or charms, often a more magical or mystical term. A arcanist is a magic user who works with arcane energy or lore. An alchemist user who focuses on transforming substances. Conjurer who specializes in summoning of all kinds. A shaman is a magic user who acts as a spiritual mediator, often drawing on the power of spirits or nature.
Which one is that one?
A shaman.
A shaman.
See,
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
And then and then you get into more specifics. A necromancer, a user who practices magic related to death or the dead.
Necromancy.
Now this is a difficult word, but I'm going to try and say it.
Go for it.
Prestidigitator, a magician who relies on sleight of hand and illusion. Then there's a runesmith, a user.
So an illusionist.
Yeah, but illusionist. Okay. Yeah, but it's the term is prestidigitator.
But okay, wait. But is that saying that there is magic or they're faking magic?
Oh no, that's I think it gets used for sleight of hand or actual illusion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Runesmith, a user of runes, often in crafting or writing context.
All right. Well, okay. In fairness, that's anybody who reads a book.
But a vulva, I like this. A vulva is a specific term for a female practitioner of Norse magic.
Yeah, I know what that term means.
Yeah. That's Norse magic right there. I was trying to find alternate terms, though, for other cultures. Because, Japanese people aren't calling their magic users wizards. You know what I mean?
Wow. Okay. I'll just give everybody a quick tip.
Yes.
If you're at work listening to this and you search for the term vulva and, like me, went to Wikipedia for the disambiguation, be aware if you use the spelling with the U, there are pictures of multiple vulvas on the Wikipedia page with no warning. So don't do that at work.
Oh, well, I should.
The vulva that Lando is referring to is spelled with an O. With little, what are the umlauts? Is that what those are called?
With the two dots on, I think? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. That's what he's talking about. So if you're going to look for it, look for that. I'm just telling you as a warning.
I'm going to butcher this, but I'll try and say it.
My
Japanese
God.
magic users, notably onmyoji, practice onmyodo, which I'm sorry if I fucked that up completely, a system of magic, divination, and spiritual protection based on Chinese cosmology, like yin yang and the five phases.
Sure.
Interesting. This is one piece of information. But yeah, I was trying to find magic users, because I mean, like, mystics in Bali, the English translation is witch, but what are they called by the people who live in Bali? They're not called witches.
No, I don't remember the term, but it's not witches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
witches are also known as medicine men and all that. The terms all get...
Layak, that's what they're called.
Yeah, the Layak witch.
Layaks are practitioners of black magic.
Layak. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that also gives away somewhat of the
a dukun is a broader Indonesian word for a shaman or traditional healer.
Wait, what is it again?
Okay, so Layak is an evil witch, right? A dukun is a broader term for a shaman or traditional healer. And then Rangda was the mystical demon queen of the Layaks. Terrifying figure with a horrifying mask-like face.
Interesting.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder, I go back to that whole first people thing, and I always say, I wonder if we've done this before and we nearly destroyed ourselves, and then, all the data got wiped and we started over and we had no history. Because, how many years, how long before people just be like, wow, fuck, we don't need written records. Our technology's amazing, and then you lose it all. Like right now, we still have analog records. But what happens when you get to a point where there are no analog records? And then you lose it all.
Well, that is the real question, right?
Isn't that the first people idea a little bit?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't totally buy into it, but it's a neat theory. It's a fun little kind of mental game to think about.
Right.
Yeah. Because what is the end result? What is the end result of humanity? Of where we're going? What we're doing with all this? What are we doing with our quote unquote magic?
Scorched earth.
Well, right? Because the thing is, we've kind of pigeonholed ourselves into this game of money. It's not even about humanity anymore. We've literally turned society into a video game where the only high score is how much money you have, and nothing else matters. So the people who have the most amount of power are the least interested in making sure that the world survives. So, I mean, yeah, isn't the end result scorched earth? Man, we're going back. We're going back. Jesus Christ, stop. Gonna go back to Udo Kier now, where I'm safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you coming with me? Are you coming with me to go with Udo Kier?
No, I'm fine with that.
Unless you want to get into it some more.
Films. No, I don't care. I mean, no, look. If you'd like to know what the end result of humanity is, look around. That's it. It's that simple. So there's not really much more I have to say about it because my own.
I know, and I don't want to be so negative because I think there are good people out there.
Sure, they're just outnumbered. Okay, so yeah, let's jump into our movie stuff, and we didn't really speak about order, but that's okay. We'll just figure that out. So let's play our music here.
You shut the fuck up!
Thanks for killing my mom. No problem.
See white girls bore me.
You can eat shit and die, Colonel.
Just give me the essence of the thing, the juice, you know.
To know death, Otto, you have to fuck life in the gallbladder.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That might be the single best
quit
line
that,
of that, man. Oh, fucking hell.
It's
You know
pretty
what?
good.
I think
good.
we should just go in the order that we watch these because we'll end on
Sure,
something
we can do
funny.
that, yeah.
And we can stop and that starts us with the worst one.
Right? From a quality standpoint, yes.
Well, yeah,
but
yeah,
in terms
yeah,
of
yeah.
line delivery, no.
Well,
no,
I
it might
mean,
be the
so the
best.
thing is, Udo Kier passed away recently. It'll be a few weeks by this
Correct.
time. And when I heard, I was sad because Udo Kier is one of those strange actors that has been kind of like all over the place. I mean, he popped up in all kinds of weird shit, and whenever he showed up, he was Udo Kier. He was weird, you know. And he didn't seem like a terrible person. He just did like a lot of weird fucking roles. So when
yeah.
I mean, you've probably seen him in far more weird shit than I have.
I've seen weird stuff, but honestly, yeah, I kind of am happy to say I don't really know anything about him personally, which means I never heard anything terrible.
I mean, yeah, nothing came up, right? You didn't suddenly hear a story about him, yeah.
Right. I just remember seeing him in lots of things, and he was always somebody who stood out for different reasons. But clearly, I mean, he sort of in a way is a lot like Tim Curry to me, in that I've seen him in really good stuff and really bad stuff and in very different media.
But he's always himself.
But he's always,
he's always
a fascinating
good.
part of it. I was watching clips of Udo Kier in Command and Conquer where he plays this Russian brainiac cyborg thing. I never played any of those games, but I would highly encourage anybody to watch the cutscenes because you almost don't know it's him because of the makeup and everything. It is truly bizarre. But then he talks and you can just hear enough of his voice to go, oh, got it. So, but that's what I mean is there's certain people. I did not realize that he was gay. Apparently he's a gay icon. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea.
You know what? I thought that he fucked anything. I thought anything went with Udo Kier.
I don't know. I read
funny.
a quote where he said that, he thought maybe it was obvious to everybody. And that's what I mean about, I never cared. I don't look up people's bios.
Because Udo Kier existed beyond sexuality. He was Udo Kier.
I mean, he really is this fat. But that's what I mean is I saw a lot of people who were posting and it's sad that we've lost this person who was, very open and very out there and was a very proud representative. I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know that, but that's a shame to lose somebody like that because apparently was, never hid anything about it and just was like, fuck it, whatever. Good for him. But that's what I mean is I don't know anything about him, which is to me the best thing is when I don't know anything about anybody because it means I'm not going to dig into them, and if I'm not hearing anything, then they're not a secret Harvey Weinstein type.
Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
great.
But
Yeah.
when Udo Kier died, I realized I didn't really have much of an interaction with early Udo Kier. And, he was a good-looking guy when he was younger, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Joe kind of sent me looking to see if I could find something that we could watch. And I stumbled on his movie Flesh for Frankenstein, which is an early movie. Not his earliest, but it's an early movie of his.
I think it's his fifth or sixth movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was made at the same time as was it Blood for Dracula? Is that what it was? Something like that?
Yeah, I think they were back to back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flesh for Frankenstein was 73. Blood for Dracula was 74, and I think they were filmed either right on top of each other or very quickly, if not at the same time.
And here's the thing: Flesh for Frankenstein, up front, it's not a good movie, but it's a very interesting, like, funny, weird movie. Like Udo Kier has some absolutely insane lines in this movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the whole idea of it, which is that essentially, I mean, I'm trying to, like, Frankenstein. So, do they call him Frankenstein?
Yeah, I believe. I don't
think anyone
say
ever
that. I know
even
they call him
calls him.
Victor, but do they? Yes, Baron von Frankenstein.
Okay,
I
there
don't
you
know
go.
that they
So-
say it, but he is credited that way.
Okay, so Udo Kier is Victor. He has his.
They always call him the
Igor.
Baron or Victor,
Yeah.
and I think they just assume you know what they're talking
Yeah,
about.
and the thing is, I read that this was a very sexy movie and whatnot, and I was like, oh, interesting. It had been banned, I guess, in England, which you said it's not a big deal. They'll ban anything. But
Well, I mean, at the time they were banning stupid stuff. This I can
Yeah.
see why at the time
Yeah,
they banned
well,
it.
I was
But-
expecting a lot more nudity, a lot more sex, a lot more, all kinds of things. And I think I said to you when we got to the end that I thought the movie could have been edited down and it could have been a lot shorter because there are some shots went on longer than they needed to, right?
Yes.
Not all movies are like that, but Flesh for Frankenstein could be edited down to a trim hour, I think, and be serviceable. But the thing is, Udo Kier in it is just so fucking nuts, and his whole
He's
thing
great.
is that he wants to make two creatures that'll be becoming the superior race, and that they'll have babies. And he's got a weird relationship with his wife, who I guess is his sister. I did not catch on to that for the longest time. And his sister is having an affair with like one of the farm hands. I mean, there is a slapstick weirdness to this movie because Frankenstein, the doctor, he gets the wrong. He thinks that there's a stud at the whorehouse, and he goes to get the stud, but he actually gets the stud's friend, who, honestly, is gay. I mean, he's got to be gay. There's no real explanation for that, right? He's got to be gay. Like, he's gay and he's in love with his friend.
I mean, it certainly appears that way because we see him when he's brought to the brothel with his friend with the New York accent.
He's just, Oh, yeah.
He's uninterested in the woman and is instead glaring intensely at Brooklyn Boy as he does have sex with multiple women.
Yeah, and the farm
And then
hands,
when he is put into the Frankenstein body, he does not appear to have any interest in the female.
Yeah,
the
he has
bride.
no interest in the woman, which kind of totally fucks up Victor's plan because he wants to make a superior race and he can't get put the wrong head on.
Yes.
And there is a kind of like weird comedy to that. I mean, this movie could have very easily become like a slapstick horror show.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, mainly because it takes itself very seriously. But then the farmhand, who the sister wife ends up sleeping with, and who ends up helping to unravel this whole thing, he's the only person in this movie who doesn't really have a vaguely Eastern European accent. He has a profound New York accent.
Yes.
And it is so fun. I mean, everything he says in this movie, it just comes out so, like, hey, Baron, where's my friend? Like, I can't even do it. I don't do a good New York accent. But it's just, I mean, it takes you out in such a funny way of the story. But again, like I said, it's not a good movie, but it is a funny movie with interesting choices. I mean, like the device that Victor uses to cut the head off the one guy, And actually, the fake head they made was actually pretty good. I mean, the eyes were moving and shit like that. But the peak moment in this movie kind of comes out of nowhere. I certainly didn't expect it, which is when Victor has got the female body on the table, and they've opened her up, and they're like putting in the right organs, right? At which point, Victor has Igor. His name isn't Igor in this, but he's Igor.
No, it's Otto.
It's Otto. Yeah, has Otto lowered the table so
he tells Otto that there's one organ left that still has to be inserted, and dun 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 dun.
Yeah, and he gets on the table, and I thought he was gonna have sex with the body. Right? That would have been the normal weird fucking thing to do. Have sex with the inanimate.
That would literally be the weird fucking thing to do.
Exactly. But instead, he has Otto lift the table so he's on top of the body, and he proceeds to stick his hand inside the body from the wound they've created on the side and begins to massage. Honestly, I don't know. Is he just...
I am pretty sure he is also having sex with the woman.
Is he also... I didn't know where he was putting his penis.
Well, I just have an idea that there's nothing under his lab coat.
Okay.
And he is thrusting. I mean, that is happening.
I thought he was literally fucking the gallbladder.
Well, no. I think he is... Okay.
That's what I mean. It's just madness.
I want to see something. I just want to get an idea of where... Okay. Okay. Based on where the gallbladder is...
It's too high.
Yeah. What I would imagine, and I mean, this, I guess, tells you something about me, is my inference is that he's fingering the gallbladder as he fucks her.
As he fucks the inanimate body.
So he's doing both because
okay.
Both are simultaneously happening.
Got it. Yeah, and
because his hand's pretty. The amount his hand is in, he could reach the gallbladder.
His arm is fucking in there to the elbow. It's crazy. Yeah, it is such a weird scene, and the fucked up part is that you don't even see anything really. Like, it's obscene through its inference and what's happening, but you don't see sex parts. I mean, I think you can see her chest, but not really because he's laying on her. Like, it's just such a... the inference of that scene is so gross. I think that's what got the movie banned. And then, of course, he delivers the greatest line I've ever heard Udo Kier say.
To know death, Otto, you have to fuck life in the gallbladder.
Truly, one of the great lines of all time.
And that line comes as out of nowhere as that scene does. And I mean, I just could not keep it together.
Yeah, that's a great that is worth seeing. Okay, Udo Kier is worth seeing the movie for. This is what I said in my short review. I'll say it here again. Is the only real reason I would recommend this to anybody, because I think it is very boring for long stretches.
It's a little too long. Yeah,
but Udo Kier is riveting. So I actually would recommend it to watch once if you are a fan of Udo Kier as an actor and you've never seen this. And a lot of people may have avoided it because the reputation is that it's trash, which it is.
No. I know, but he's awesome. He looks so good in this movie.
He's great.
Fashion, the way he carries himself, he looks fantastic.
He's at the peak of his beautiful man phase. There's no doubt about it. He is a gorgeous man in this thing, and his eyes are everywhere.
Yeah, electric, yeah.
So, you know.
It's not a one. We're going to swoon over Udo Kier's eyes.
No, really, but this is one of these cases where you see somebody and you go, yeah, you can understand why people fall under the spell of such a person. The intensity of somebody like that combined with the looks is somebody you just want to be around. So it's understandable. I don't understand why his wife's sister shaved her eyebrows, because that just made her really
I mean, and I think there's a lot of weird choices in this movie beyond that. But the special effects are good. I mean, there's a few kind of gross rip-apart scenes, and I think they're all handled very well. Effects.
I wish there was more of it.
In fact, what's weird about this movie, there's two things that still are weird to me. Is that one, the guy who did the special effects of this, he went on to do E.T. Is that what he did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, E.T., yes.
Right. So this is a guy who knew what he was doing. And then, was it was it Nicholas Winding Refn said he wishes he'd directed this movie?
Yeah, which I would be really fascinated what he would do with it.
I don't understand, but not that he wanted to redirect it. He wished he'd directed this movie.
Well, okay. Now, I've read his statement on it.
Okay, yeah,
and
so clarify.
To me, I think what he means is he wished he had been given this to make with the same basic story, meaning he would have embellished it with the visuals, because that's the thing. Is there are parts of, say, Only God Forgives.
Yeah.
That, if not for the lush visuals and the music and just the style, would be titanically boring.
Got it.
But because of the things that NWR adds to it, which I'm only saying that because I know I'm not pronouncing his name right, it does stop you from being, much like Stalker, which we'll get to, the slow moments are offset by the lushness of what's going on, as opposed to almost nothing's happening. So that the dinner scene where there's a ridiculous table that we were referencing, the 89 Batman, which very smartly played that joke quick.
God, it's so long.
It's so long. They're saying nothing. And in an NWR film, there would be all this. There are scenes in Only God Forgives where it's pretty slow, but they're in a bar that has all this stuff in it. Like, it's lit really specifically, and it has all this stuff on the ceiling. It may be a real place, I don't know. But you're not worried about the fact that nothing's happening because your eye is just kind of swimming around the screen. Yeah. And instead in this, it's just a table in a room where he's cutting back and forth. And it's a very long table, and it's funny at first. And then you're kind of like, the joke's over. Can we move along? And no, they're going to talk for another 7 minutes. Yeah, and it's clearly just to fill time.
I think I said at the end when on the commentary that this movie could have been like 30, 40 minutes shorter.
Easily.
Yeah. Yes. So I do think I think if you like Udo Kier, I think you should see this once. Like you said, see it once. You might become someone.
Or if you're curious about movies that only would have been made in the 70s, then see this once.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, it's got an. I will say this: it does have an interesting end. I did not expect.
Yeah, it has a great ending.
The way for it to end the way it did. I mean, like, once, and that's what I mean. Like, it's very slow up front, but once things finally get rolling, right, then things get interesting, and then people are getting ripped apart, and then, because was it Otto kills the female monster kind of out of nowhere? Like, it makes sense actually because he wants to emulate the Doctor.
Yes.
But like that scene where he like basically rips her wounds apart, like, I mean, it's vicious, and you're like, holy shit, he killed the Bride of Frankenstein.
Right.
That's what he did. And then I wish they would have gotten more into this idea of, they put a gay man in a body and they expected him to be heterosexual. Like, I wonder if that's what attracted Udo Kier to this to some degree, that implication was in there. They didn't say it.
And it's surprising that in a movie of this time, of this type, that they didn't do more with that.
Yeah, and instead...
They really could have done something interesting. They could have... Okay, if I'm remaking the movie, just myself, then the transplant happens at the halfway point. And then after that, it's Victor slowly realizing that... Because in his mind, he talks about the Serbian ideal. They should all be Serbian. Yeah. That's his master race for whatever reason. There was never really an explanation given that I know of, but whatever, that's fine. So he liked Serbs, fine. So he thinks he's going to make a male and a female to reproduce and to create this master race. Well, what happens when he has a male monster that is not interested in the female? I don't know, but there's an interesting idea that can be mined from somebody with the arrogance to think they can create the perfect being.
Yeah, and it could
not have conceived of a beautiful man not being heterosexual.
Yeah, I mean, it could have gone in so many interesting directions, and I thought it might. Yeah, but then they don't ever take it that extra step.
Well, okay, here's the interesting part to me, where you could actually, if you want to go off the psychotic deep end, then to me, Victor realizes, well, okay, there's a couple ways. One would be that Otto murders Victor and creates a male creature with the ability to reproduce so that they could just be two males and have a master race of men with the ability to reproduce, which has a really interesting far end if you're actually saying you don't need women anymore.
Otto was never. I don't know if Otto was smart enough.
This version of the movie isn't interested in any of this. I'm saying that you could take the same basics of this and make an interesting movie. Or, again, you can get into the monster destroying Frankenstein Victor because he keeps trying to make the monster want the woman, and the monster doesn't want the woman, and instead of accepting the son he made, he rejects him, and there's your subtle commentary on homophobia and rejection, and you could do a whole bunch with this thing. And instead the movie does really nothing, and that's where it kind of squanders in this time.
Yeah.
With this type of movie, you could have made a really powerful statement, especially with the people involved. And instead, they do very little until you get to the last half hour. And by that time, most of the straights are bored, meaning anybody who's not into art garbage, not literally straight or gay. I'm saying any normal viewer. I have to clarify. I'm using the Ghostbusters 2 version of straights.
Yeah, Ray, you're scaring the straights.
Okay, right. What I'm saying is that there are people who will take slight detours into art house stuff.
Yeah, they'll never make it.
But unless you're already into this, and it is farcical, but I don't think there's enough humor to even sustain that the way some people try to defend it by saying, "Oh, it's a comedy." You have to understand it's okay. I get it.
I think
it's a parody.
No matter how you look at this movie, it's too long. It's just too long.
Yes. Yeah. No, absolutely. You could have cut this, because I think Blood for Dracula is about the same running time, and it sounds like the same complaints. So why not just cut them both down to 45 minutes and make them a double feature of an Udo Kier special? Udo is the supernatural creature that you cannot take your eyes off of for 90 minutes. Done. Wrap it up. Put it on a disc. We're finished.
Yeah. I mean, there you go.
In fact, I will look around. Maybe somebody's done it.
Yeah. It's just, it's sad that there were so many things they could have done with that they didn't. That's the other weird part, So, but listen,
as you point out, he's excellent in it. So who cares?
He's great in it. It has a weird, fucked up ending. It should be shorter, but if you can get through it, it does have a nice, weird conclusion. And it's funny. It's how do I use the word kinky? It's erotic, but it's not erotic in an erotic way. You know what I mean? Like it's very sexual without ever being tantalizing. Yeah, it's like there's a gore sex to it. You know what I mean? Like it's like watching a porno made by Gwar, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain was like a porno made by Gwar would be like wet cereal. Anyway. Yes, that's Flesh for Frankenstein. So after we watched that, Joe was like, "Oh, we should watch another movie with Udo Kier that they dub him out." And the thing is, I've never seen Suspiria. So Joe was like, "Yeah, let's go in a different route. Let's go do a movie that I know is good."
Yeah, well, yes. Now, specifically, we're talking about the 1977 Suspiria, so the original. At some point, we will watch the remake because I think it's also excellent, but it's a longer movie, so that might, that's gonna we're gonna have to have the right amount of time set aside for that one.
And very quickly, we'll get it out of the way. Udo Kier is in this. He's in it very briefly. They dubbed his voice out, so it's so fucking weird.
Yeah, it's very strange, and yet he is a critical character.
He's an info dump.
Because, he's the info dump, and for whatever reason, it's not like he's, even in Flesh for Frankenstein, it's not like you can't understand what he's saying.
No, he speaks English, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know why they dubbed him. There may have been a reason. Maybe he wasn't around to do the dubbing because most Italian movies of this time period were shot without sound. Yeah. So it is possible that when they needed him to do dubbing, he wasn't available. That's possible. But if it was a choice, it was the wrong one. Yeah. If it was a necessity,
Or they had their dubbing crew. I mean, that's the other thing, too, is a lot of these directors had, from what I've read, they had their crew of people that dubbed a lot of their movies.
Yeah, and that's possible. But when you have somebody with a distinctive voice,
Well, I know that, but like, there's a what is it? So I only know this because of Top Gear. Top Gear was dubbed in Italy, right? And they had the same guy dub. Like, was it James May was dubbed by the same guy through everything he ever did. They always used this one guy to dub him. This guy was like and it's that kind of thing. Is that they probably just had a crew of people, and they were like, okay, who's going to do the voice of the guy with the blue eyes? He wasn't the main character. He was. They just said, oh, we have an info dump, right? So I mean, listen, he still looks great, but he is not the important part of this movie.
No.
But I gotta say, what astounds me about Suspiria, other than the fact that I can clearly see how this movie must have affected a lot of directors and their modern direction.
Speaking of Nicholas Winding Refn.
Yeah, is that it looks so good that it doesn't look like a movie made when it was made. It looks like it could have been made yesterday.
Yeah.
And maybe we just saw a really good copy too, but visually, the way
we did, because I have the 4K, and that's what
there you go.
From,
yeah,
so
the way it handles itself, and the way it's designed, and the colors, and everything like that. I mean, it moves like a movie from its time period, but it looks almost timeless. And that was something I think I had an idea in my mind what Suspiria was like, and it just totally knocked any of my ideas about it out of the park. It was so much better than I thought it could be.
So were you judging it on the other Italian films we'd watched? Did you thought it was going to be something
you know what?
like that?
I think I had an idea. I mean, I heard that it was an Italian movie about a coven of witches.
What is that?
In a dance studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I had this idea of a modern horror movie is going to have far more witch, I think, is the problem. And Suspiria, up until a point, is a slasher flick. Until suddenly, it's not. And then it's something else entirely. So, I kept waiting.
Yeah,
I kept waiting for different things to happen. And I think it's the subversion of it is actually really fantastic because it's not a slasher flick.
No, there is a slasher, but it is at the service of a coven of witches.
Yes, exactly. So I thought everyone in that movie was very good. I thought it looked beautiful. There's no nudity in it, which I know it seems weird to bring up.
Yeah, there's a point in the commentary where you're like, I'm surprised. I'm like, there's no nudity. You're like, really?
Yeah, in a movie with with witches and ballet dancers, the fact that there's no nudity is amazing. You don't get that. An Italian horror movie, witches,
sure, yeah,
dancers. I mean,
yeah.
So that also surprised me. I was, but yeah. Also, there's a very funny thing in the commentary where I asked Joe if the lead was going to die, and I think he heard something else, and he was like, "Oh yeah, they all die." And he thought I was asking about the witches. So I kept thinking that the main girl was going to die, and at the end when she doesn't, I was like, "Holy shit, she didn't die!" I was like, I figured she was going down with the ship.
Yeah, I thought you meant the witches, not the.
I was pleasantly surprised because I was led astray. But I think this movie is fantastic. I understand why somebody wanted to remake it, and you've gone on about the idea that they had to remake it in a different way to make it worth remaking.
It is a very rare example of a remake that I absolutely support. It is the exact reason you remake something where some part of the original is the base, and you did something in nearly every way different, but with no less a quality of filmmaking. And that's fucking rare.
Yeah.
Very rare.
And
I would say that they are of equal quality with very different things to appeal to very different people.
Yeah, and then the other weird thing is that what was fascinating is that you've seen this movie how many times before this?
Oh, it's 13, 14, something. Oh, no, wait, I mean, it's Stalker. I've seen it more than 10 times.
And this was the first time that watching it that you found out that he was blaring the soundtrack at the actors.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was actually blowing the music at them full blast during the movie.
So they were getting the same tense, weird fucking music that we were.
Yeah, I know. This is one of those movies where I don't avoid knowing a lot about how it's made, but I enjoy how it is without needing to know the technical stuff. So I knew certain things.
Yeah.
Like I knew that the actual witch was played by, from all reports, a homeless woman that the director saw and said, "You look right," and they didn't have to do much to her.
Yeah.
So, and she's not in it very long, so it really doesn't matter. She doesn't have to really do much of anything. So there's parts of it that I know about, but a lot of it I don't really need to know.
No, it's a good movie.
I think
it's just a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes I guess that's the problem. Sometimes when the movies are just good, like you don't have a lot to say because you're like, yeah, it's fucking good. There's a sense of dread that follows you through the whole movie. There's all these different terrible things that are kind of going on in the background, little things that you realize. You don't know. I mean, the paranoia is set to max because you don't know who to trust.
The music is used to assault you and offset what you're doing and what you're thinking.
Absolutely.
You said how it sets anxiety when the scene doesn't necessarily, if you cut the music, the scene doesn't look all that disturbing, but with the music, it's very, very anxiety inducing, much like Devs. It has that same effect where the music is being used
Devs did it really
against
well
you.
Yeah. I know. It's just Suspiria. Suspiria just goes hard in that direction.
Well, and that as a comparison to the remake, where the remake, it feels like one of the goals from the director was, okay, I want the music to be vital, but I'm going to go the opposite route. The music is going to be in the background, but it's no less important in understanding what the scene is conveying.
Yeah.
But instead of going where I'm blowing the amp and the power station in 3 counties around here to make it this loud, we're going to go further back. Because Tom York does the soundtrack for the remake.
Oh, no,
and it's very much reliant. Yeah, so it's very much reliant on his voice. It might be some of the best stuff I think I've ever heard him do. Was the Suspiria remake soundtrack? It's very good.
Here's a question for you about Suspiria and the director. Did Argento ever do another movie like this? Like, he did. No,
he did. He did
they...
Inferno, which is like this.
But is it good?
It's. Like I think Inferno is great. Mother of Tears is a piece of shit by all accounts. I won't even watch it. I've seen some clips.
But he did that one. But how old
way
was he
later?
That one?
Way later. Yeah, it was further in.
So there's a different vibe to that one.
Yeah, did he do anything else? I mean, Phenomena is supernatural in that it's Jennifer Connelly has the ability to communicate with insects, which I think is a barrier for most people because it's kind of gross if you don't like insects. But she is psychically, she's very young. She's psychically connected. Oh, it's Argento. Yeah, Argento did it.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that one. Interesting.
Yeah, right. and interestingly, there are little sprinkles of supernatural in some of his other movies. Like in Profondo Rosso, there's a character who is psychic. Now, that doesn't really matter in the movie, but in a movie that otherwise is grounded in reality, there is just a random psychic who opens the movie having this almost like Scanners-like reaction to an evil force. Her head doesn't explode, but she's having this big reaction to an evil presence. And in the same way as the music works in this, it makes you on edge because nobody doesn't think she's actually psychic. She demonstrates that she does have the ability. So when she starts freaking out that there's a dark presence and you're seeing the whole theater, but you can't see what she's seeing, you automatically get on edge. And then she gets killed pretty quickly and that's it. Then there's never more supernatural, but there's just a random psychic. So there's shit like that, but nothing else outside of the Three Mothers stuff. I didn't see anything else in Phenomena. I don't think there's anything else that's this supernatural as far as that, especially this far.
Well, it's a shame because he does it well, or he did it well. You know?
But the thing is, there's a lot of movies that have the same filmmaking style.
Yeah.
So his use of color and throwing women through glass, which seems to be a thing with him, like that will happen. But with this, he did Demons. That's right. He did Demons. Did he direct Demons? No, he only
it was Demons. Was
no,
Demons the
he
movie
wrote.
theater?
No, we watched Demon. Or no, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, Demons. He wrote the one we watched. He didn't direct it.
Okay.
That's why the colors
that would have been a better movie if you directed, despite how sexy that nipple scene is.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking through the stuff and There's nothing. He did the European cut of Dawn of the Dead because he got Romero to make. He was like, "Man, I'll fund it. You have to make a sequel to this." So I know he and Romero worked together and they did different cuts of it. But
either way, yeah, I was so pleasantly surprised by how good Suspiria was. I very much enjoyed it, and it was. You can, like I said, you can see where a lot of directors. If this movie didn't direct certain directors, I'd be surprised. Because even I was thinking Wes Anderson. I feel like there's elements of Argento in Wes Anderson. I mean, he must have had.
Oh, I can see. Yeah, Argento was an influence on a lot of people.
Yeah,
and because there's a period of time, particularly I would say. Oh, I don't know. There's debate on what his final great movie is. Some people say Opera, some people say Trauma. But regardless, his period of masterpieces was like 70 to 90. And inside 70 to 90, I own a fair bit of these movies on 4K because his filmmaking is just so good. And you see, like, he was one of the people who defined the giallo slasher trope for Italian films. And then with like Suspiria was a deeply influential movie. Tenebrae is often credited as a great, a slasher film. Opera, Phenomenon. Like you can go on and on. There's lots. And he was involved in a lot of other big horror movies like Dawn of the Dead, like Martin. Like he and Romero were close. And so he and other great directors often worked together. He wrote a lot of movies for other people. So yeah, there's a period of time where he's just like unbeatable. And those movies are almost all winners, no matter what you're into. But Suspiria and Deep Red are typically the ones that most people argue what his best one is. I don't think it really matters. It's whatever you like. I go back and forth. It really doesn't matter. Deep Red is just a straightforward slasher. Although one that, Daria Nicolodi is in it, which I love her. She's the Italian Mila, and she's fantastic in it. So,
Is she the one that was in the other one that looks like Mila?
Yes. No. You're thinking of Dagger Eyes. No.
Yeah.
No. That's not her. If you look her up, you'll see what I'm talking about. Daria
what was it?
Nicolodi. Look up Deep Red. So if you look up Deep Red and Nicolodi, she should come right up. Yeah, 1975. And look for the woman with the wavy hair. Well, she's the main woman. She's great.
Interesting.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And she co-wrote a lot of his movies, including Suspiria. So she was also a great writer in terms of actual filmmaking. But yeah, she's awesome.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, but and like I said, in that time period, he's got so many winners. And then just stay outside of anything after that. Just stay away from it. Just do yourself a favor.
You made an executive decision after you watched Suspiria.
Yes, I remembered because the biggest problem, and we've talked about this before, the biggest problem we have with our movies is they generally have to be around 90 minutes. Now, we've stretched that a little bit of late, but generally we're trying not to go too long because Lando has to sleep.
Yeah.
And so, no, really, I mean, that's what it is because you're 3 hours ahead. So it's not a big deal for me, but it's a much bigger deal for you.
Yes.
And you have children that you have to be up and, other things you have to do.
There's shit that I got to get done, yeah.
Right. And so, but Stalker is a movie that I never shut up about, as everybody knows. And I know you've seen the original Solaris and you like that movie. And I thought about it because I rewatched Stalker not that long ago. And I always forget about the fact that it's actually a movie in two parts because they don't cut it into two like they do now with movies where everything is a part one and a part two. They didn't do that bullshit back in the 70s. They just expected you to sit there but there is a part where the movie does say part two and brings the title back up, but there's no intermission. There's no break in it. Say, I think 2001 has an intermission where it just stops for 10 minutes and you just hear music and it says intermission and it comes back. This movie doesn't do that, but it's one of these movies that I just adore because it's a movie that's very slow, but it's because the weight is in the ideas and is in the questions and is what you as the audience have to bring to it. So I was like, well, I'm just going to cut it. I'll just cut it where the movie cuts. I'll go to the point where it shifts scenes and goes to part 2, and we'll do part 1 right before part 2 starts.
Even part into 2 parts. I mean, overall, that movie is what, 2 hours and 40?
2.5.
40?
Yeah, 2:38 or something like that. It's closer to 3 hours than 2. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's basically 2 hours and 40 minutes, right?
Yeah, 2:42 is the technical.
And I gotta say, this is not a movie that I would advise anybody to watch. Because I think it's a movie that demands you to think about. If you go into this movie expecting, I think, a typical, sci-fi or even to some degree horror like movie, you will be bored. This movie is slow and methodical. It is beautifully filmed,
mm-hmm.
and feels like every decision has been considered. I don't know how he made this movie in Russia in the time period that he did, because
every decision except for the effects on people's health, but other than that,
yeah. But you know what's funny? I was talking to my wife about this movie, and she goes, "I don't think he died. I don't think the environment killed him." She's like, "I think the Russian government killed him after the movie came out."
I mean,
because the ideas he's playing with in this movie are explosive. I mean, he's dealing with deep concept shit about life and its meaning. I mean, I have been contemplating. The core question that keeps coming back to me is essentially, is the zone real? Right? And my brain keeps going back and forth over whether or not it's real. Like, what is the information the director has left for us to decipher whether or not what's going on in the zone is a real thing or it is a mass, a mass illusion, right? Yeah. And the thing is that I want to think it's real. And I think to some degree, I think the director wants it to be real too. I just don't know if the traps are real, because the decision to go into color when they're in the zone, the fact that the stalker is so afraid of what can go wrong. I mean, does the stalker have some kind of mental illness? Is the stalker seeing things that they aren't seeing? I mean, because if you take that tact, then the stalker could be experiencing a totally real event, right? That's not real to others. But at the same time, there are other stalkers. Now, we don't see them. Actually, my question to you is, does anyone of them, I don't remember anyone in the movie has said they've ever met another stalker. Because I think the stalker is the only person who's ever met another stalker.
Yeah, the stalker's the only one who we ever get confirmation that they firsthand met somebody. The other one, they seem to know of the other famous stalker who killed himself. They seem to have an awareness of who he is.
Yeah.
But I don't believe anybody else has ever met one of them besides him.
Yeah, so there's a lot of weird information in this movie. Just to be upfront, I loved it. I did love it. I think it was great. Some of the mystery, the mystery of what's going on is so tantalizing. And then you layer on that question of, is it real? Is it not real? What's real? And then on top of that, the personalities of the three leads. I mean, this movie could be a play of just three men walking back and forth across the stage, and the things they discover along the way. I want to think it's real. Excuse me. I want to think it's real because the disappearing bird, because of the weird psychic powers the girl seems to have at the end. What was the other thing? All the destroyed tanks. Like, something clearly has happened in the zone. It is destroyed. It is abandoned. Something has occurred. Right? What it is, I have no idea. But I think also I think I said this to you at some point. There's a scene towards the end where they arrive at the room, and the writers decided he's not going in, and then the professor decides he's not going to blow the room up, and the three of them are sitting there, and then suddenly it rains in the room, and I know that the story is that there was actually just a freak, like, rainstorm, and that the water leaked down into that when they were filming it, right? Regardless of why and how it happened, the fact is that it did happen, and that's the take that the director used. So the camera slowly pans off our three leads into the room where the wishing can happen. And as the camera pans in, it rains just in the room. And to me, on some level, I think that's the movie saying the room is a real thing. In the context of the story of the movie, I think the rain says, because it doesn't rain in their room. It doesn't rain where they are. It just rains in the room. And then eventually it stops. And it's a beautiful shot. I mean, the thing is, this guy is so meticulous in his shot and what's in them and how they do them. I know you've said that the technicality of how he got some of these shots is amazing. It is a meticulously done movie. Yes, it can be slow, but it is slow because it's messing with very heavy concepts, and your ability to come along with it and to, I mean, if you're not the type of person who wants to ask questions of things, I think a lot of this movie will bore you. I think if you're willing to ask questions, I think this movie becomes riveting because you sit there and you go, why are the tanks destroyed? Why did, if there's nothing there, why did the Russian government cordon it off? Right? Why you don't, I mean, I always go back to that line. You don't hide nice things. Why do they not want anyone to go there? Right? Why did the other stalker supposedly kill himself? Who found out that the meat grinder did what it did? Right? And the joke of it is that just because we don't see any of these things happen doesn't mean that they don't happen. It could just mean that the stalker is very good at his job, and that the people that he's with are also not horrible people, because at one point the writer goes the wrong way and something knocks him over. When we cut to the writer, he's on the ground and he seems like disheveled, and this is right after we have the bird that just magically disappears and reappears, right? So there's And anyone who says, well, that's just a filming mistake, there are no filming mistakes in this movie. There are no mistakes in this movie. This director has meticulously put this movie together. If that bird dis-fucking-pears, it's because he wanted it to. And after the writer is knocked over and he sits up, he has this long speech that he says either to the audience or to the other two. Now, I mean, in the context of the movie, he's saying it to the other.
The answer is yes.
Yeah,
he's saying it to both.
Yeah, but the thing is, he suddenly has this realization. It's like something has touched him, and there's a lot of elements like that in the movie where it's like, we were going on about AI earlier and how it's so big that we can't even wrap our heads around it. Well, the idea of the zone, there is something there, and it's so big that no one can wrap their head around it, what it's doing, how it's judging people. And so at one point the professor falls behind and the stalker's like, oh my God, we're never going to see him again. And then they end up coming back out where they were, and the stalker says, how'd you get ahead of us? And the guy's like, get ahead of you, I've always been here. And it's almost like the zone is cool with these people. Like you could possibly be seeing a best case scenario where the stalker goes in with two people who are not fucking horrible. And so he's able to navigate all the bad things that happen along the way. I mean, he even says to the writer after he almost goes down the wrong path, he goes, sir, he's like, you are very lucky. He's like, you're going to live to 100, right? And it turns out that the writer is the one person who is sober enough to not go in the room. Because he sits there and he goes, you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know what it's going to show me. He goes, I want to go back to living my life. I'm just going to go back and live my life the way I've been living it. He's like, I don't need this thing to show me who I really am and give me what I really need. He goes, I don't need that. But I also love that the writer, when the professor pulls out the explosive and the stalker tries to stop him, I like that the writer tries to stop the stalker. Not because he wants the professor to blow it up, but because he wants the professor... to me, I feel it's because he wants the professor to have a choice. That it's not about doing the thing, it's about having the choice to do the thing. Because if you want to do it and you get stopped, it's not the same as coming to the realization that you don't want to do it. So the writer archetype character is fascinating for the conclusions that he comes to. And in the end, both men decide not to go into the room. And what's interesting is that I did not think their decision-making was going to destroy the stalker quite the way it did. But it does. Like, when they leave the zone, the stalker is... I mean, he is so broken by the fact that these two men made it to the brink and then realized they didn't need to go into the room. Like, he is fucking, like, just ruined by it. So yeah, I will be thinking about these ideas for a while. I understand why people watch the movie over and over again, because they're trying to kind of suss out they're trying to build their own logic map for what they believe the movie to be about. I think it's good that I've never played the game, and I haven't read what do you call it, the Roadside Picnic yet.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's a part of me that almost doesn't want to, because I'm worried that if I read I want to read the book, but I'm worried that if I read the book, it's going to color my logic of what the director has done with the movie. Because the director is being very specific about his ideas.
Well, I'm not going to say necessarily it is considered one of the great science fiction books. I don't think you will have that problem, because the book is far more... It's far more hard science fiction than philosophical. There really is nothing quite as left to the imagination as this. It is a very different... All the building blocks,
the meat grinder does grind people up in the book.
Oh yeah, people do get destroyed. One person steps in something and his legs instantly dissolve into nothing, and he has to be carried back. Like there's no ambiguity.
Okay,
the shit exists.
Yeah.
There are multiple, and Monkey in the book, she is almost not
daughter,
human.
yeah.
She has like alien blacked out eyes and fur everywhere, and she becomes less and less human as she gets older. She just stops communicating and becomes this thing. So no, look, I'm not saying you have to read it. For me,
like I said, I really want to. I don't want it to get in the way of my ability to process the logic of the movie.
I really don't think it will. If anything, I think what you will benefit from is that you will have the visuals of the zone to carry into the book.
Yeah.
So you will see the movie's zone as this wild area.
The movie, or the book is all in on the fact that it's real. But what the movie does that is so fascinating is that you don't really know if it's real. You can want it to be real or not, but like I want it to be real, but I also like science fiction. But it's the idea that, like I said, it could be the mental illness of the stalker. It could just be wishful thinking. It could just be hope. It could be all these things. And you're like, well, why does, why? Is it what it is? Is it not what it is? So I love that about this movie.
Unlike the movie, in the book, there are 6 zones. There's not just one. Okay. There are multiples, because the aliens kind of went in a line across the globe and just like dropped in, and then left. And so the stalker, the main character, unlike in this, works for a scientific... I think I said this in the commentary. I was talking about how he works for a science institute that studies the zone. So this is kind of his job. There is an illegal thing where some people kind of hide what they get to sell. Yeah. But they also do go in there as a job. He goes in several times. So I don't think it would ruin the movie, or you would conflate them, because they are
It's very different. It sounds very different.
Yeah, it is an established thing that, you're going to die if you're not careful. Like, people have been killed, people have been maimed, the shit is there, and the artifacts, they go in for these things, which is an aspect of the game. In the game, you come across these objects which have supernatural properties. They are all radioactive except for really, really rare ones, but that's kind of the balance. Is you almost have to find one that absorbs radiation so that you can carry one that does give off a lot, but it also gives you, say, the ability to carry twice the weight you could normally. But it's got insane radiation, so then you have to find another one that soaks up the radiation without any downside. So you're kind of balancing things, and that's where the game pulls that part. And the central idea, except in the game, there is no alien visitation. There is no alien anything. So the game also jettisons that entire idea. It's Chernobyl. They took Chernobyl and they made that the thing that created the zone. It's not really Chernobyl. It's actually a set of scientists who were doing a psionic experiment, but it coincided with Chernobyl melting down. And so in the game, no aliens, nothing of anything off-world. It is all terrestrial.
There's three very different takes on the idea.
Exactly. Yes.
Interesting.
So it is interesting that the book spawned these two very, very different interpretations of the core story.
And again, I don't think this is a movie that a lot of people. I can't tell anyone to see this movie. You have to be willing to sit and really think about the ideas that are being bandied about. It's not light material. It's a heavy movie. You know what? And honestly, Seven Samurai is a really great example of this because,
sure,
in the pantheon of Seven Samurai, you have Seven Samurai, then you have like the original Magnificent Seven, and then you have the remake of Magnificent Seven with Denzel Washington, right? And the question is, are you a Denzel Washington remake Seven person, or are you a Seven Samurai person, or are you someone who can enjoy all three? I mean, we are all different types of creatures. I happen to like Seven Samurai quite a bit. I like the original Magnificent Seven, and I like the idea that they made another Western, but I do think that Magnificent Seven with Denzel Washington is the substandard movie to the rest of those.
I would agree with that.
As much as I always love when they make Westerns, but it's just not as good.
I mean, it's...
And the thing is, it's
hard to beat Toshiro Mifune. It's just hard to beat Toshiro Mifune. That's all.
Listen, I do love the original Magnificent Seven. I mean,
that's
Will Brenner and Steve McQueen. I mean, holy shit! If you were gonna put somebody up against Toshiro Mifune, Steve McQueen, and Yul Brenner,
I would say Yul Brenner more than Steve McQueen.
Now the two of them, it's the two of them together. That's the juice, man.
Yeah, sure.
That's the juice.
Sure. Yeah, that's the thing, I guess.
But it depends on that kind of person, that you are.
Sure.
I'd be really, really unsure if I heard somebody was making a Stalker remake, because I don't know of any director who's got that level of attention to detail.
Well, okay. If they were going to follow the book more than the movie we watched, I would be okay with it if, it was somebody like... Alex Garland would certainly be an interesting one based on what he did with Devs and Annihilation. I would say he would have an interesting approach if he was sticking to the material. Duncan Jones for Moon would certainly be interesting if it was a grounded hard science, which is what it is. The alien part is there, but it's
if somebody turned around and said they were going to remake the original movie, not the book,
the Tarkovsky version,
like that's what I mean.
I don't know who could do that.
I don't know of anyone who can. That's what I'm saying. This is a movie that I don't think anybody can remake. I think it is made as well as you could make this movie.
The only person who I would think might have a shot, and I'm not even saying I think that he could do it as anywhere near as well, but based on the fact that he has no problem with slowness, is the guy who did Beyond the Black Rainbow, who has no problem with long, lingering, heavily visual shots where you have to add a lot.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
But
the
I
attention to
don't know
detail.
that anybody else can do it.
Yeah,
Not like this.
I don't think anyone does. As of this moment, I don't think there's any director I know of that could make Stalker.
And I don't think anybody would. I think
And
if
I don't think
anybody was
anyone
going to
should.
do it, no, well, that's right. I think anybody else would probably attempt to do the book because
Yeah.
I don't think that actually.
But what makes this movie so amazing is the fact that it walks this line. There's such a massive sense of tension in this movie, but you don't know for what. I mean, honestly, there's a sequence in this movie that's great where the writer pulls a gun as he's about to go through a door, and the stalker's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm going to go through this door, and I don't know what's there." And he's like, "What are you going to shoot at?" And like, I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, what the fuck are you going to shoot at?" Like, this is beyond guns. You're beyond guns now, buddy. And he does finally smartly put it down. And then you point out how the stalker like just pushes it fully into the water just have it push it out of sight altogether almost to say to the zone is like, forgive them,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like there's
Wow. Here's a great quote from a reviewer. Quote, or the film is a, quote, endlessly pliable allegory about human consciousness, end quote.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty good.
Because the stalker, the professor, and the writer represent these different archetypal views of reality. Whereas the stalker is all in on hope and promise of the room. The writer doesn't believe in the room, and the professor wants to destroy the room. And in the end, the writer and the professor choose not to go into the room, so they don't disprove the stalker, but they also don't actually follow through. So the stalker is in this situation where they can still not believe and believe at the same time in the thing that he himself thinks is like absolutely vital. So it's to me, it's a great fucking movie. It is a great movie. Watch it, but honestly, I think the way that you showed it to me is a great way to watch it too. Don't watch it all the way through. I really think that when you get to that partition, I think you should stop and walk away for a day. Because I think giving myself time to process the first hour of the movie, or the first hour the hour and 5 minutes of the movie, before then going in for the next hour and a half, I think gave me far more perspective on what was going on. But other people have more time in their hands. It's a beautiful looking movie. It is just, I mean, nothing.
Well, interestingly, the authors actually generally liked it, from what I've read.
Oh yeah, I read
but
that.
Agreed that almost none of their stuff. I mean, they worked on it, but a lot of what they wanted in it, he basically jettisoned.
Yeah, yeah, and yet they're still happy with it. And I think that the thing is that because he doesn't say anything, I get the sense he doesn't say that anything's wrong that the book did. He just leaves it so that it isn't. Yeah. Like it is, but it isn't.
It does have a radically different ending compared to the book, where the stalker does go in the room.
But,
so there is that.
There is that, yeah.
But
but
yes, I mean, there's a reason I never shut up about this movie. I think it's a movie that I agree with you that most people will never be able to make it through this movie, and I don't say that as a criticism. I say that as just a recognition that this is a movie that is not made for general audiences. But I think that if you hang with it and if you don't hate it by the beginning of part 2. Then I think that you will be rewarded by the end of the movie with something that will stick with you. And that's what I mean about. But most people, I don't think will ever make it to part 2. I don't think most people make it halfway through part 1.
And part 2 is where, like, theoretically things really start to get,
yes, but that's weird. An hour in, and I don't know that most people are going to make it an hour in. And again, I want to be very clear, I don't say that as a criticism. I'm not saying anybody's dumb or can't handle big thinking. It's not that. I understand this movie is a slow-moving film. There's just no way around it.
I don't know if the room matters in the movie version. I get the feeling that the zone is the room. I think that when you're in the zone, whatever the force that is there is slowly showing you who you really are.
There is a reason that we never see the inside of the room, really.
Yeah, and honestly, when the stalker says, well, we can't go to it in a straight line, it won't let you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, because the writer tries to go, well, it's right fucking there. I'll just walk in. And when he starts to walk through it, he suddenly stops, and someone tells him to stop, and then he comes back. And now here's the thing. You don't know what's going on in these characters' heads, so you don't know what kind of force is being impressed on them. But the writer turns back.
When the writer turns back, the stalker and the professor each thinks the other person said turn around. And then when the writer comes back, the stalker says, you told yourself to turn around. And he's like, no, I didn't.
Yeah,
so they all seem to be aware that there was a voice. They all know something was said, yet no one will say they said it.
Who said it, yeah. And so
is somebody lying, or is it another voice? We don't know.
Well, the argument you make is that if the stalker is trying to manifest all this, the stalker did it, and just, because like that's the one argument is that this is all the stalker's manifestation. He's building a fantasy. But I like the idea. I mean, we're playing with ideas here. I like the idea that the whole zone is a thing, and the zone doesn't want you to get to the room. The zone wants you it wants to see who you are, and it wants you to see who you are, and you have to go almost through this like walk of penance to get there.
We also both said,
we
at one point also both said that the zone may change depending on the stalker inside it, and so for the porcupine who made it to the center, that's because in his heart he wanted to make it to the center, but the stalker in the film that we follow doesn't. He is a worshiper of the zone as a holy place that he just wants to constantly be going back to. And so his true desire is not to go in the room. And so he never will. And is it? Now, this is an interesting one that
is that why it's so easy for him? Because he doesn't want it.
Well, here's an even more interesting thing that I didn't think about until really we started talking about it in this. Is the fact that the writer and the professor don't want to go in there because the stalker doesn't really want them to go in there, because his true obsession is the fact that nobody gets the zone but him.
Yeah, if his vision of the zone is that, then the zone is being manipulated. I mean, it can shift.
Everything within it. Everything
can shift, and his belief seems to be most powerful because he's been there so many times.
And is that why the two people who seem dead set on doing something, by the time they get there, aren't anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and even
the nice part is there is no right answer. There just is not a right answer.
Yeah, I mean the stalker who dies, he sent his brother into the meat grinder first, and then brother died, and then Porcupine is the name of the stalker, made it all the way through. And then when he got into the room gave him tons of money. And I wonder if the idea is that after losing his brother, he went into the room, and the room basically said, "Yeah, all you really want is money. You really are a piece of shit." And the porcupine couldn't live with the fact that he had essentially sacrificed his brother and walked away with money. That money was really all he wanted. And that's the thing with the writer. The writer doesn't want to know who he really is. Because if you go, to have something look at your soul and to say, no, you really are just a selfish cunt. And to be like, oh my God, like, at my core, that's what I am. I'm just a fucking piece of shit. Like, can you live with that? How much money do you need to salve that kind of soul pain till it catches up with you? But it took Porcupine, 2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks before he killed himself?
I think it was 2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks, and then he killed himself. Yeah, because there isn't enough money in the universe.
And now that is one specific thing where the book, having read the book, there is one interesting bit about the Porcupine and brother thing, which is in the book, at the very end of the book, when the main stalker is going to find, it's not the room, it's called the Golden Sphere, but it's a wish granter. It's the same idea. Wish granter, by the way, the only common element between all three media. There's a wish granter in the book, the game, and this. In this, it's the room, but it's still granting wishes. So he takes the son of another, I believe, another stalker with him because he has been told that the meat grinder has to take somebody for anybody else to get through it. He's intending to let the son go first.
Oh, wow.
Which is something in this,
so
in this thing where he keeps saying, you go first.
You have to give the meat grinder.
You have to sacrifice somebody. Yes.
Oh,
so basically
shit.
somebody has to be sacrificed.
Okay.
But interestingly, what happens is he makes it through. They both make it through in defiance of what the stalker believes has to happen. The guy still gets destroyed, but he gets destroyed because he's the son, the meat grinder sacrifice who is yelling things that sound selfless and then blows up, and the stalker believes it's because he realizes that he wasn't really wishing for that, and so the sphere destroys him. That's the idea you're supposed to take. At least that's what I took out of it, is because he was falsely saying that he was being selfless when he really wasn't. And this thing, much like in this, it knows who you actually are. It reads yourself.
Yeah.
And there's one other tie-in to the movie that the book... That's why, the idea that I know the director at one point said he jettisoned everything except for there being a zone and a stalker, which I just don't believe is true. There are definitely pieces that survived. Is in the movie, there's a point where the stalker says, all right, if you go in the room, think back to your childhood memories, because in childhood is when you are, I don't remember the term, but he says you're a better version of yourself or something like that. He says something along those lines. I just don't remember the exact quote. In the book, when the stalker reaches the sphere, he ends up thinking back to being a child, and he yells something that he had yelled as a child, and that's the very end of the book is him yelling out what is actually a benevolent expression that he had as a child when he was kind of optimistic. And so I feel like that's another element that came into the movie. Now, it's not as specifically important to the wish granter room.
Yeah.
But again, it's like those are the little things you'll pick up where you're like, oh, the book has a similar idea, but does something very different with it. It's a very different end point honestly, to where the movie goes.
The meat grinder sequence is probably the one sequence in the book in the movie that I wish they'd done more with it. Because it's tense, but it's tense only because the stalker is as fucking freaked out as he is. Yeah. And I told you that the one thing I would have done to this movie is I would have added a either one or two other people and would have had them get destroyed. Because I think that's just a modern thing. It doesn't need it. But for me, even if you had one other guy there who represented some other philosophical point of view and who got destroyed in the meat grinder, who just went poof, right? But the thing is, I know that that's not what the director wanted, because the director wanted this line, this fine line that he was going to walk, and that's great. I'm just saying, for me, I would have liked to see somebody get destroyed in the meat grinder. Because it is this long, dim, gray tunnel.
It's terrifying
for something to happen,
Yeah. And see, to me, that's why I'm glad nothing does happen, because I think it
subverts your expectation.
Yeah. Well, it is this thing where there is just enough there, like the dog appearing, that, then comes out with them. That just appears. But appears at very specific moments, then vanishes for a while, then comes back. It's not like the dog shows up and is then with them for the rest of their journey.
Yeah, and you sit there and go, is this just arbitrary? Was there just a dog in this exclusion zone? Or, is the dog something? And it's like... Well,
or did the stalker manifest the dog? Because there's a point, and if you see the commentary, where you're like, oh no, the professor sees the dog, and I'm like, does he? Or is he just looking down the hallway at the bodies that the dog is in front of? But does he see it? And that's the
problem. But that's the problem with this movie, is that the second you don't...
It's not the problem. That's what makes it interesting.
You don't know. You don't know what people are actually experiencing.
Yes. And so you said, oh no, he sees it. And I say he doesn't. Neither of us is wrong. See, because the movie doesn't give you something cemented that way.
I'm going to make the argument. You don't have to agree with me.
Sure.
But I'm just going to make my argument. I think he does see it. Because I think that whatever the director shows to be there is what we and the people in the movie see. And the reason I say that is because when the writer hears his name being called, right? His mouth doesn't move, nor does the mouth of anybody else move that we see. So the idea is that everybody hears it, but nobody knows who said it. And I think that based on that kind of internal logic, I think that the professor sees the dog, but I think that he has no interpretation of the dog. I think that, you know, he doesn't see it as a negative or a positive. He just sees it as a benign presence to himself. You know? That's just my theory. But again, like I said, the whole movie's up for grabs.
Yeah, the only thing I'm
all of it
number
is
one,
up for grabs.
I'm not debating it because I don't think that.
Oh no, it's fun. It's fun to debate it, like to debate the logic, because you're trying to.
Yeah,
I don't want to just make a statement. I try to.
I think that the movie doesn't refute any interpretation. That's why I like it.
You're allowed,
because two people can watch it and see.
Yeah, you are allowed to have your theories because it never says it.
Yeah.
It always leaves it so that you can go in and go. And here's the thing: I might watch this movie again in 2 or 3 years and be like, totally different vision of this movie. And also, you know what? This is the other thing is not being a Russian person from that time period. I am missing something entirely. I would love to know what a Russian citizen from this time period watching this movie, what they sees, because
even the book was censored. And only was restored in 2010 or 11, but up to that point had been censored. And then the brother who's still alive helped restore it. So yeah, I don't. I don't know what somebody of the time period, if they would have immediately. I did look up. I was curious about this. Yeah. So the religious persecution appears to have still been in effect when this movie was made. So just the fact that there's so much religion in it, there's biblical passages that are quoted directly and not just one or two words, whole long parts of it, that, right there, that is going against, and I do think he was exiled from Russia when he had already been exiled out, I think, by the time this was made. So I don't remember when he got thrown out at some point. When did he get exiled? Had he made, he did Mirror, which was the autobiography. Okay, last film completed the last one was Stalker. That was it. And after that, let's see. Oh, he had a heart attack during the making of it. Jesus. Yeah. Was it a heart attack he was given? You never know. Yeah, so basically that was the last movie before he was out. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just looking to see if there's anybody who has commentary on the Russian vision of this movie.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, the copy I have has a whole booklet, I think, written by it might have been a Russian. I'm sure there are. I am sure that there are. I'm sure there are interpretations of it. I mean, there would almost have to be. But
ooh. What is interesting? Yeah. This is a philosophy professor doing a philosophical interpretation of Stalker. I'd be curious
there you go.
See.
See?
Either way, I think this is an astoundingly good science fiction movie. It doesn't answer questions. It just raises a whole fuck ton of them, and that's great. And if you're the type of person who wants to ask questions and wants to wonder, I mean, at the end, it's the wonder too. It's the having the ability to having the wonder and the dread, and not having to have it totally fucking spelled out for you. In that respect, This is an astoundingly good movie.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
But I agree with you. Probably not for most people, and I don't say that as any. No. Again, I want to make it clear that I'm not saying that as you're not cool enough.
No, it's not. I just
understand that this is
it's a slow, heavy concept movie.
It's a slow movie that you have to really bring a lot into.
Yeah. There's barely a soundtrack. There's no nudity.
And I'll also say, just so it's clear where I am on it, it's not like I just throw this on randomly to watch it, like I do Tron Legacy. I can watch Tron Legacy at any time of the day, any time of the year. It's just that easy. This is not something I just toss on casually.
And when we were watching it, there were long bits of silence because we were watching it, and you're trying to understand, people are saying shit that's very fucking heavy. And you're like letting it kind of roll around your head trying to fully understand what they're going on about.
Yep.
So.
And with a movie like this, I don't mind if there's long stretches where we don't say anything, because I do think that there is a value in letting people see what's on the screen, especially with something like this. I think the parts where we stopped talking were when things were happening that we were digesting.
When that phone goes off, I don't even think we're like 2/3 of the way through the movie or something like that. I mean, that shit just fucking. I think I start laughing at that point in the commentary because it just took me for such a sidestep. Like I was like, I did not expect that there'd be this like working phone ringing. Yeah, and then again, and that's another reason. That's another reason why I think the Zone is real, because how did a phone call get direct? Oh no, he calls. No, but yeah, how did a phone?
At first it rings first, right after the guy turns on a light that blows out. Interestingly, the writer turns on a light switch and the light blows out, and then the phone rings and the professor answers it.
Yeah, and then the professor calls somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just such a So, we could go on about it, but I think people should see it. I think people who are willing to watch a philosophically heavy fucking movie. I'm trying to think if there's any other movies I would put in the same. You know what? I will say this: if you watched the George Clooney version of Solaris, and you felt that movie was like you liked it, I think you should give You should give Stalker a try, because I think that director who did the remake with George Clooney, I think they made like a lighter version of the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think it's good, but it is a lighter version of the movie that's still trying to deal with many of the concepts. I think if you were willing to take that kind of, because I mean that movie ends on very much a question of what happened, what's going on, and the movie going, that doesn't matter. I think Stalker is like that. Like if you're willing to go with that, then you can do Stalker. But yeah, beautiful movie. I mean, that scene with the rain in the room, it's gonna stay with me for a long time.
Oh, there's so much of that movie that sticks with me. There's just so much of it that I mean, the long scene where they're scrolling across the water and there's all the stuff in the water is that scene where they go through the car. There's this long shot they go through a car. There's just, and the other thing too, I don't remember, I think the average shot is 1.5 minutes long, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually a lot. Or is it, maybe it's the short shot, and that's highly unusual for, because ironically, my wife and I just watched Hot Fuzz within the last couple days, which is a movie that, in comparison to Stalker, that is very specifically high amount of fast editing and really rapid action. And to come off of Stalker and then watch Hot Fuzz is to basically put your brain into a washing machine. It's like, whoa, okay. And that made Hot Fuzz to me even more frantic, is because I just come off of Stalker and then we watched that.
Don't get me wrong. Hot Fuzz is such a good movie too.
And it's all intentional. Like that's all the repetition, everything it's all on purpose. It's not just bad editing. Because there are movies that are like that because they're badly edited, or MTV style editing with no artistic intent whatsoever. But that made Hot Fuzz just more manic to watch, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, no shots in this last more than like 5 seconds in some cases. They're so short.
What's the longest take in Stalker? Because some of those are long.
Minutes, I'm sure. Longest,
because the whole sequence with the phone, that was like,
oh yeah, there's several. Let's see, the 10 longest unbroken shots in cinema history. You know what? Tarkovsky's got a few in this list. What do you know? Let's see. He's got number. Let's go to page 2. So let's see. Oh no, he's not number 1. Nostalgia, apparently another movie of his which I have not seen. Has one of the longest shots. Let's see. Stalker is on the list. I'm trying to see if they have numbers. Let me see if it's in the trivia. I'll bet you it is. Let me go down to the trivia here, because I did see. Okay, let's see. 142 shots in the 160. Average shot length of 88 seconds. Many shots lasting longer than 4 minutes. So I would have to look up what the longest shot is.
The longest shot in Stalker is the telephone room scene. It is 6 minutes and 50 seconds.
That's a long time.
And that's a long, I mean, you don't realize it, like you said, but it is a long to just have the, I mean, and it's not that the camera's not moving. It is moving around what's going on. It's just, it's uncut. It's just continuous.
Well, I'm pretty sure I say in that, on the commentary in that scene, I'm like, you have to remember, they're also remembering all their lines and doing all this stuff for this long. That is not easy. There are long, I mean, even a few minutes, even at like a 3 or 4 minute shot, it's not like they're just standing, I mean, some of them, they are just standing there doing nothing, but there's many where they're talking actively back and forth, and not just, hi, how are you? I'm good. How are you? Great. It's like, oh, the unbridled intellectual burden of being a believer. Oh, what do you know? It's like, goes on. It's like, holy shit, man, you had to memorize. It's like doing a play. This is like Shakespeare, you know, where you're doing these long sequences with the camera never cutting, so there is no retake type of thing. These shots are all in one thing, and they're all, I mean, I don't speak Russian, but they certainly appear to be very good. So, and the 3 actors are all great because they all do also a lot without talking, where you're just like, the stalker looks constantly haunted and reverent at the same time. He's both endlessly happy that he's where he is, and seems to be constantly worried that one of the people with him is going to make the zone turn on him, or they'll be blasphemous. Imagine, I don't know, somebody who was granted the ability to stand before God and bring people to him, but being afraid that the person's going to tell God to go fuck themselves, and what that would mean for them. It's like that. Where, like you said, with the gun, there's multiple points where he's like, no, don't do that.
Bomb, you know, the negative notions. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Great movie.
Yeah.
I always have this little, in my head, anytime somebody likes it, I get the Janine thing from Ghostbusters. We got one! I'm like, shit, yeah! Somebody likes Stalker besides me.
I think you knew that I was going to like Stalker.
Well, I didn't think you'd hate it, but I didn't know if you would really enjoy it. I mean, you don't know, because the material is highly dependent on what the person brings to it.
Yeah, what you're if you're willing to think about it. If you start thinking about this movie, it's tremendous.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know what? I think I will read the book then if it's different enough. I'll just have to.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have a problem with that.
I'm gonna have to standalone complex it in my brain is what I'm gonna do.
Oh, it's definitely that where you will recognize certain concepts, but it's also far more on the side of no, this stuff is real, and this is like a business, and it is. There's an entire institute devoted to studying the artifacts and what happens, and people are maimed and killed. Like, it's not even a maybe. No. They
are.
It happens.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Now, you're going to have to tell me how the hell you picked the last movie that we watched, because you picked it. And it was a smart fucking pick of a movie, let me tell you.
Well, I had recently, much like Stalker, another movie I never shut the fuck up about is Yes, Madam. One of my my favorite martial arts film, period. It just is the best one. And it has Cynthia Rothrock and Michelle Yeoh in it, who I think are the ultimate martial arts team. Again, I will brook no discussion. I don't care what you're citing. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. In my zone, they're the best. And it's over. The discussion is ended. So I had this thought while I was thinking about, I actually have an option to have. There's no other movie where the two of them are together again, which is the great shame, the great scar on humanity beyond all other, among others. But I thought, well, I can't, there's no other movie with the two of them, but I know of 2 movies that each of them are in. So the way I can reunite them is I'll have those be the 2 options that Lando will pick from. And I didn't tell you what they were. I just said pick number 1 or 2. And option 1, which is, you picked 1, right? Yeah. Whatever it was. The one option was The Inspector Wears Skirts, but it's better known, I guess, as Top Squad. So we'll just say Top Squad or whatever. It doesn't matter. And then the second, that was the Cynthia Rothrock one. And the other option was Super Cop, also known as Police Story 3, even though you really should call it Super Cop because it really doesn't have anything to do with the first 2 police stories, which is a Jackie Chan film, which has Michelle Yeoh in a prominent role where she's doing a lot of stunt work and martial arts stuff and, much of the awesome same stuff she was doing in Yes, Madam. And ironically enough, the phrase Yes, Madam comes up throughout Top Squad, over and over, to the point where in the commentary, I beat the joke to death of every time somebody says it. I'm like, that's right, great movie. So you chose that one, and we watched that, and it was a movie that contains a scene unlike any other I've ever seen.
I mean, yeah, there's a central scene in this movie that you do not think is going to evolve the way it does and the directions that it goes.
Right. So, in essence, the bare bones of the movie is after a terrorist incident on a movie set involving an Arab sheik, which is never really set up. It just happens. I mean, the movie just starts out and it's going straight at 120 miles an hour right away. That features Rothrock and the main actress whose name just went into my head. It's like Suba something Lee. Hold on. Let me make sure I give her, because she is the main character of most of the movie. So her name is Sibel Hu. That's it. Sibel Hu is Madame Wu, who is the commander of a newly formed female commando squad. Formed because they want to have the ability to have this. They already have a male commando squad called Tiger Squad, but they want to have this female squad that, depending on who's talking, is because they blend in more, because women will be underestimated.
Also, the sheik had a wife that no one could touch.
Right. No man could touch.
No man could touch. And the men kept very nearly touching her, and it was becoming
and in fact,
problem.
one does. One grabs her to get her out of the way, and suddenly it's an international incident, literally. And so commander. What would the name be? Commissioner of this police, basically this version of MI6. Proposes making a female commando squad for those instances where men are not the right decision. And of course, everybody says, well, they can't be as good as men. And so he says, well, let them. The
misogyny in this movie is just overwhelming.
There is a ton of it. So the idea is, well, if they can demonstrate the skill level of the equal to the men, then they are every bit as competent, and let's let them have the ability. And so Madame Wu is put in charge of training this cadet of ragtag women, who have various character traits, and we'll find out many are dating the same man. And they basically form up at the same training facility as the Tiger Squad. And so the bulk of the middle of the movie is fleshing out the characters, bumbling hijinks, reading private letters.
Which at first I was kind of getting bored with it, but then when things started to get funny and weird, and I got my favorite, which is fucking Amy. Amy is the one to watch. Yeah, Amy's the best. Yeah. She is the best part about the middle of the movie. Then I really started to enjoy it, because I was like, oh my God, what the hell are they going to do now with this?
Well, that's the thing. The movie is smart. The movie's pacing is very smart, because there's a big action sequence in the beginning.
Yeah.
So it clearly demonstrates it knows how to do big action sequences. So you're then waiting.
And it goes hard.
What's going to come next?
Really hard at the beginning.
Oh yeah, it's great. Rothrock is used very well in the beginning and the end of the movie, so I don't even mind that she's not in it throughout, because they know when to use her, and they use her when she kicks back a grenade. It's great. Like shit like that, I'll eat up all day. So the beginning has the big scene. Then we're meeting all the cadets. It's getting very goofball drama stuff where, there's interpersonal fighting. And
there's it turns into Police Academy through the middle. There's dating, drama, and it's funny, and it's meant to be funny. It's not like, oh, it's so bad it's funny. No, it's meant to be funny, and it is fucking funny.
And it is funny, culminating, because the movie's, again, pacing, it has a beginning, middle, end sequence that are captivating, and that's why it works. So we get up to this part where they're invited to a roller rink. And
the male squad has invited them to a roller rink.
Well, everybody but Amy, who is fat and ugly, which she is not. I mean, this is just bizarre. But she goes anyway. And so they get there. And at first, you think it's just going to be another scene of kind of, goofy romantic hijinks. And that is what it is for the first, 10 minutes of that scene is, guys and girls bumbling about, trying to get each other's attention. And
you're almost starting to get bored, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden...
And there's a point where the guy's like, okay, we have to back Man. His name is Man. So it's M-A-N. I don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced differently, but Man is the guy's name. It's like, okay, we have to back Man up when he goes to sing. And you see a band in the center of the rolling rink. And at first, you just think they're like a house band.
Yeah.
And for all we know, they are. But then the most handsome of the male Tiger Squad, the young male Tiger Squad, does an entire what I would compare to Nick Rivers in Top Secret, a whole number where he's doing an Elvis type song.
There's dance choreography and there's people catching
everybody
each other.
Everybody joins in.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a musical number, top to bottom, that starts out as a joke and then becomes impressive because everybody's on skates and there's a lot of people involved.
And it just keeps on going.
And they treat it like nothing. Nobody thinks this is unusual. Everybody just watches and joins in. And then it devolves into a extraordinarily... Yeah.
And then we get a lull. And Amy, who is pissed off, decides to challenge the male squad dipshit...
Yes.
To a slap fight. It's a game that involves slapping, right?
Yes.
And I don't think Amy's very good at it. So Amy and this guy are slapping. I mean, they are slapping the shit out of each other.
Amy's mouth is bleeding.
Oh, she's bleeding. She's like punch drunk. And then he accidentally reads the result wrong and slaps her when she should have slapped him. At which point, he takes off running. Amy's going to kick his ass. The male soldiers kick in to try and help their friend. And then the female soldiers kick in to help Amy. And it turns into an all-out fucking brawl on skates in the roller rink.
And brawl meaning people's heads are driven into walls, railings. They're thrown over walls in ways that if this was a grounded in reality movie, they would either be in the ICU or dead.
They're kicking the shit out of each other.
Yes, but there's no joking in this. They are getting to beat the fuck out of.
Yeah, 5 minutes before they were like, "Ooh, maybe I'll sleep with you. I don't know." And then now it's like, "You're gonna fucking die." You know, like it's just amazing.
Yeah. It went from Elvis impersonation to Death Wish really quickly.
It is. I mean, it is so, and it's well done. So it's so funny because it's like the martial arts is good. They're actually quite comedic about how it's done. Like, I had a really good time with that sequence. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I've ever seen another movie with a sequence like that goes from, like, police academy romance, musical number, brawl in the roller rink.
Yep. And so after that, and that's the middle of the film. That's like the middle of the movie. So we have this big thing, and then we get a little bit more...
We get teamwork. We get the team coming together fully.
Yeah, we get team train. Well, Cynthia Rothrock shows up right after the team building exercise.
Yeah.
And so then we get this whole thing where, she's like, all right, come find me on the boat. She's like stringing them up. And she's like, no, you have to be ready because there's going to be a robbery. We've gotten a tip off that there's going to be a robbery. And so both squads, male and female, end up going in to safeguard this robbery. And so the idea is that the men are kind of scattered and the women are sort of the secret force to kind of watch out for things. And so they're watching and
it ends up being funny. It still ends up being funny because
there's still funniness. Yeah, there's still humor.
Yeah.
But then a very distinctive blonde man shows up who I recognized in one way, and then we found out he was somebody else that we both knew. I recognized him because he had been in Lady Reporter, and I believe he has the same kind of yellow hair look. He looks like Guile from Street Fighter, except with less, more restrained hair. But he stands out, much like the red-haired British man in the very beginning, where we're like, that guy is not a local.
Redhead,
It's just bizarre, outside of the fact they speak English at random times for whatever reason. And Rothrock is supposed to be the head of Interpol, so we don't really know where she's from. It doesn't really matter because she's awesome, so who cares? And so they're all there, and this guy shows up, and I'm like, I know him. Why do I know this guy? And I looked him up, and he was in Lady Reporter, which is a great movie. It's a Rothrock film. But then I looked at his, and you will hear this on the commentary because I'm doing this in the movie, because I have to know who he is. I'm sitting there going, I'm pretty sure this guy is the fucking six-string samurai. And sure enough, he is the six-string samurai.
And the second you see him,
crazy.
The second you see him and then the picture of the six-string samurai, you're like, oh, yeah, that's him.
Yes.
Like, the face is undeniably
Which
him.
is a bizarre random occurrence because I knew him from Lady Reporter,
and he's great.
I would never.
He has a great fucking fight he dominates the end of that movie.
No, he's fantastic. And so we get this huge battle where it's multi-level. Everybody's involved. There's explosions. There's gunfights. There's hand-to-hand combat, weapons, everything. I mean, just great fight and gun fu happening all over the place. Leading up to a very abrupt ending, which is not atypical for this type of film. Where on the thing, Lando was shocked. He's like, the movie's over?
It is so abrupt that it gave me whiplash.
It's
because,
very
you know
abrupt.
why? Because they never fought the other woman. There's the six-string samurai shows up with a very muscular woman. And
the black spider.
Yeah, he uses her to basically catch a bunch of the people. So I was expecting that there was going to be a fucking fight with her, and then there never is. The movie
because you see her in a very short skirt, and she certainly looks like, at least leg-wise, she's pretty jacked. So you were expecting a big fight scene with her, but instead it's him. And maybe they tried it with her, and she wasn't as good at martial arts as he. Who knows? I don't know what the reasoning was, but it just ends very, very abruptly. And the other thing is, you sort of expect that they were going to have a bigger threat than a robbery because they were set up, because based on this big international terrorism thing. So you might have thought that, okay, the robbery was their first test and the real fight will be with some kind of bigger threat.
Well,
like
there are sequels. So I wonder if that's how it progresses.
Probably. But like I said, this movie would make it may be an Iron Angel situation where then they built on this going on. That's very possible. But it does end fairly abruptly. But still.
Is Amy? I wonder. Is Amy? I'll watch the sequels if Amy's in them.
I want to say she is. Let me. I want to verify that. I'm pretty sure most of the people in this.
Because she has excellent comic timing.
Yes, Amy and the lead woman. Actually, many of them come back.
Good. Then sign me up.
Yeah. Oh, including who you thought was in this movie, but he wasn't. You thought that the male commander was the bad guy from a couple other movies we saw. Well, guess what? He's in the sequel.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He is in. There's 4 of these movies, it looks like. Amy is in all in the first. Oh, no, they're all in the first 3. Now, let's see. What about the 4th one? Let's take a look at 4. 4 has... Oh.
Yes.
You know who's in 4?
Cynthia Rothrock?
No.
Who?
Who else would we want to see in a movie?
Michelle Yeoh?
No, not Michelle Yeoh. Who else? Come on, think of the name.
Oh, Moon.
Yes, Moon Lee is in the 4th one.
Shit, she's in the...
Yeah.
That's funny.
Wow.
Well, fuck, now we have to watch them.
Yeah, I guess we do.
Because,
Yeah, and Amy's in that one.
They're gonna give us all that. Then we might as well go watch them all through.
Wow.
We'll have to have those on the back burner as a safety.
I'm trying to see what the. Let's see. I'm trying to see as long as the action. Yeah, it sounds like the action isn't necessarily as good, but hey, we can watch them. I don't care. I'll watch any of this kind of shit.
We'll give it. We'll see if we get another roller rink of doom scene.
That would be quite magnificent, wouldn't it?
It happened once. Yeah. It might happen again. So yes, I think that it's called the Inspector Wears Skirts
or Top Squad.
Or Top Squad.
That's what it keeps coming up as Top Squad when I search for Inspector Wears Skirts. So just so everybody knows what it was.
An immense amount of fun. I did, a
blast.
After that first fight sequence, I was really worried, and then when we hit the fucking roller rink, I was like, "No, I'm in. I'm good. This is great." And then the end fight.
And when we both liked Amy, and Amy made it too, it's where it's like, okay.
Yeah, well,
okay, this thing where they're trying to make it out like she's ugly and fat. Now you've really put me on her side because that's come on, give me a fucking break.
Oh man, and she's so fucking irritated, and her comic timing is so good. It was weird because she just has this expert sort of like physical timing to the comedy, and the fact that she was also physically able to do the martial arts and be that funny. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So I want to see the sequel. I don't want it to be a letdown, but I want to give it a shot because it was good. It was good, and the characters, they grow on you, and that end fight when they fight the Six-String Samurai. I mean, Cynthia Rothrock versus the Six-String Samurai. When did you think that was going to fucking happen?
I would never. I didn't even know he was in it until this. So I learned something new.
Yeah, only one man can kill this many Russians. Yeah. Oh, and here's the thing. By the way, if you're listening and you haven't seen Six-String Samurai, run.
Oh, watch that. Yeah, watch that. I haven't watched that in a while. Maybe we'll put that on the list to watch because I haven't seen that in probably at least 10 years.
Oh my god, that's such a great.
I mean, I remember a lot of it, but
high concept apocalypse musical martial arts movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. And now that I know that guy was like a fully accomplished martial artist, it makes it even better,
Yeah, he's very good.
So amazingly, other than the fact that Flesh for Frankenstein runs long, these are all good movies. I enjoyed them.
Well, yeah. For the right. Okay, so
they're not all classically good movies. Like,
this is the thing. In a rare case, none of these movies overlap in terms of who the audience would be. I don't think. So there's something for everybody with this.
We're the overlap.
Well, But let's go through them. So Flesh for Frankenstein, if you're into art house flicks, it's worth watching at least once. Some people love this movie. You may be one of them. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm never going to watch it again. I've seen it. I've seen what I need to see. I got the best line in 1973 history, which we will go ahead and repeat now. So here we go.
To know death, Otto, you have to fuck life in the gallbladder.
That's where the juice is.
Because that's where the juice is, right? So just for that, it's worth watching once. So for art house people, there are people who love that movie. So you may discover that you're somebody who rewatches it. That's great, fine. But that's for the art house people. As far as Stalker goes, Suspiria is for Italian horror fans. If for some reason you've never seen this and you've seen other Argento films or you've seen other supernatural stuff like maybe, Night of the Demons, that type of thing, this is probably one of the best examples of Italian horror filmmaking that feels very specific to the area it comes from. It is a beautiful film. It's a beautiful film. The Goblin soundtrack is great. Even outside the movie, I have the soundtrack.
Fantastic. Yeah.
It's all good. It's all of it is great. The only bad part is that they dubbed Udo Kier, but that's again just a byproduct.
He's a minor part of the movie.
He is a minor part, and his eyes still look great, and he's still in very good shape. So you'll still get that, beautiful. But it's not going to sound like it won't sound like him. That's all. But great if you're into horror and have somehow never seen it. That Stalker is for people who enjoy a kind of long,
philosophical,
contemplative. You kind of have to make some decisions on your own. You're okay with a longer film that is really going to take its time. So that's it. I mean, it's 2 hours and 40 something minutes. So be aware. But there is an audience for that, especially if you liked Solaris, the original. Or if you felt like, as Lando said, that the remake was a little quick. If you like
the remake, yeah. If you like the concepts being thrown around in the remake, check it Stalker out.
Yeah. Beautiful film, expertly made. For people who are okay with a slower movie. And then Top Squad, if you like Hong Kong action and you're okay with the kind of tonal whiplash that happens there.
And you know what?
And
if you are a fan,
you're probably familiar with it. Yeah, actually, if you'd like to see what a much more action-oriented Police Academy is like, then that would work for you. And the nice part is, of all these movies, the only one you can't watch for free is Stalker. Stalker is $3 to rent.
We're leaving out the part where the girls in the unit find out that like 2 or 3 of them are dating the same asshole,
and then beat the fuck out of him.
And they sneak out to set him up and beat the shit out of him.
They brand his hand with a hot pipe. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
They fuck him up.
They do. But yeah, so Flesh for Frankenstein, Suspiria, and Top Squad or Inspector Wear Skirts, those are all free to watch on multiple channels. So you can watch those with no cost. Stalker's $3.
Oh, it's worth it.
And, you know, it's
listen,
and it is.
I'm going to say this in all seriousness.
It's on it's on YouTube too. So.
Oh well, I'm going to say this in all seriousness. Right. Many years ago, I bought Seven Samurai, the Criterion Edition. I think it was like $40 when I bought it. Right.
That big box with like the symbols on the front, the black box.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great one.
I think that I would pay $40 for a copy of Stalker. Like if I was buying a really good edition, I would pay $40 for a good edition.
I think I paid $40 for Stalker 4 times now. I bought a bootleg version off eBay the first time. Yeah, I've bought multiple editions of this, and I've always taken the one.
Stalker is worth the money.
Well, this is the funny part. Each of the previous versions I put into one of those free little libraries where people put books and stuff, hoping that somebody would have no idea what it was.
I would just pick it up.
Look at the cover and then start watching and go, what the fuck is that? I mean, I always hold out the hope that somebody somewhere randomly became a fan of it because they found it in one of these little libraries.
When I was in my, when I was getting my 2 master's degrees in South Jersey, and I had a lot of time alone, I used to go to the Blockbuster and blind grab a ton of movies. You know, like you know what? Yeah. I blind grabbed. Was it Deep Blue? Luc Besson's Deep Blue.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I blind grabbed that and watched it. Was like, what the fuck is this? Because that's a Luc Besson movie.
That's a Stalker type film where you have to
exactly. You know, I blind watched that. I blind watched The Legend of 1900, which is a really weird Tim Roth movie. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, but not for a long time.
Yeah, I love that. The music direction on that. That's all, and that's what's his name? Fucking oh god, Good Bad the Ugly. What the fuck is his name?
Oh, Ennio Morricone.
Yeah, it's Ennio Morricone did all music for that movie. So that movie's fantastic. But like, I would just grab all these movies from kind of like the weird movie section of Blockbuster. Yeah. And this is honestly why I do miss video rental places. Because the big problem we have today, and this is late in the show, so I don't want to get too heavy into it, but it's like, you know, you go on Amazon and like you don't even know what to look for because there's just so much. It's like the entirety of human experience of cinema is being vomited at you at full power. Whereas in an old Blockbuster, there's only so much that could be there, and you knew that if the weirdos working the store had something in like the weird movie section that they were actually holding on to, you knew that it had to be interesting. Do you know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't have a copy of Stalker there unless someone in that store was like, I love Stalker. We're going to have Stalker on the shelf.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, you remember, there used to be a Criterion section.
Yeah.
It would just say Criterion. And that's where you knew the weird shit was.
The weird fuckers were there,
yeah. Most of the stuff on Criterion in the early days was very obscure, black and white, like German expressionism or weird stuff.
I mean, you know what? That was the other one that I blind watched. Le Samurai, the French movie.
Oh, sure.
You know, it's like stuff like that. You're like, what am I watching?
Right. Yeah.
Honestly, that was some of the best shit. That was a weird time in my life to just watch so many strange movies that I would put on at like out of the blue and just be like, what am I watching? What's going on here?
And that's what I still do now. See, that's where for me, it's no longer Blockbuster or Tower now. It is people in Discord who send me random shit. And that's why I tell everybody, I'm like, this stuff goes in a list. I have a list with just endless stuff.
I do really enjoy watching these movies with you and the weird stuff that you bring up. Even when we watch absolutely, like, there's even the fact that we have found a new low. I'm even amused by that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all amusing to me. That's why when you were like, I didn't want to talk about it, I'm like, no, we should talk about it. Because like, you know, we hit a new low. It's like I even love that because you're always looking. You're always looking for the boundaries. You know what I mean? You're always looking for the boundaries of what you like, what you don't like, what's good, what's bad, what breaks your brain. You know, I mean, movies is what we've got right now. I mean, we've got lots of media, but movies hit you so fast. I mean, there's so much information on the screen at any one time. So it's fantastic to wander all this art with you. And it's great that all this shit washes up on the shores of your reach.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we do next week.
Yeah. That's there's still lots to go. So we won't run out anytime soon. But anyway, yes, this week a little something for everybody. So whatever you do with your weekend, enjoy it, and we will talk to you again next week. Visit OzoneNightmare.com to subscribe to new episodes, browse through our back catalog, or to find links to support the show. Follow @Ozone Nightmare on Twitter for the latest episode postings and other show information. If 280 characters just isn't enough, you can always email us, theozonenightmare@gmail.com. The opening theme for the show is provided by Heartbeat Hero. The closing theme is provided by Ogre. Please visit and support these artists using the links in the show notes for each episode.